Okay, there it is. Right. Got to do this in the other order. I swear I know what I'm doing. I've been doing stream for how long now? Okay. Hey, Viv. Doing the thing.
Good luck with the toes.
Thank you. Thank you. Neat. Oh, before you go. Thank you. Powu, howdy. Welcome to the stream. Don't mind me. I'm just muttering to my wonderful partner who is not currently on the microphone. Yo, Wheel Baron, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day. Like, folks here, and I haven't finished even posting about this yet. Hope you're all having a good one. Works, I can't talk, but I'll have you all on my headphone the whole time. Oh, well, thank you. I hope I provide some good background for your workday. Time to Toho it up. Indeed, it is. We're going back to the old stream format I was doing, where I would do an hour of Toho practice, followed by whatever game we're playing. I took some time off after beating the last Toho game we played, and now I want to go back and practice and go for the no continue clear. I know it's within my abilities to do it now. Toho ho 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 ho. Hi, Evie. And if you're just here for Shibuya, don't worry. We'll starting about an hour in or so after I get some practice in, we'll play some Shibuya. Whoa. I just closed the game by accident. What is going on here? Why? Hi there, Biken. Just keep the stream happy for a moment, please. Thanks, Biken. All right, something strange is happening. Why? Where's it getting an input from? Interesting. Hold on, everyone. If you're here for the next game, then no, you're not. There you go. Okay, for some reason, the controller I had plugged in was fucking with the game. Alright, let me see if I can get it to show up. It's showing up on stream. It's showing up on stream. Perfect. Hey, this is a 2-decade-old game I'm trying to get run on modern hardware. Okay, give me a break here. The fact that we can even do this is kind of a small miracle. All right. So last time we were derusting. Today, we've got a very specific goal in mind. Today we have a very, very specific thing that I want to practice. I want to work on specifically Cherno. The first real filter we've encountered so far, not filter, but like the first real problem has been trying to find a way to deal with a very specific attack of hers, which is really funny, I'm aware. So what we're going to do today is probably just practice this level and work on this one specific attack of hers. Which is fine because we get to listen to Cherno music all day. The rest of this level, like, all of levels 1 through 3 are pretty darn easy at this point, and I'm capable of no-hitting them without much difficulty. It's specifically this one attack of hers. It's going to cause me trouble. Also, I almost didn't kill Diose. That's bad. You always want to make sure you get Diose, because that's your earliest free bomb. And, you know, can't go without that. Alright. Henri, hey, welcome to the stream. 4K Ultra HD upsetting and ray tracing these classics. Damn right. Actually, it's more just like there's very specific things that these programs expect. And if you aren't running them, then they fuck up real bad. Okay. So this is the attack that I need to work on. This one right here, where she's attacking you down the middle and also has stuff coming at you from the sides. If there is a way of dealing with this one yet, I am not sure what it is. Yeah, see, we just got hit in the middle of that. Because right now my operating philosophy on the game has been to just bomb that attack every time it comes up. And we can't afford to use a bomb this early in the game if we're going for no continue clear. So we need to find a way to avoid that specific attack. Which is why you see me kind of trying to move through it right now. I'm trying to figure out like where the spots are. Like if I can pick somewhere in it, like because it's not unlike all of the rest of her attacks, it's not immediately visually obvious to me like where the rice in her attack is going to go and then where, you know, my safe spots are. If that makes sense. Like this one, it's super easy. It goes everywhere, but they move so slowly that you can easily kind of look ahead and figure out where you need to be and make space. That's not hard. Oh, y'all thought I was kidding, huh? No, we're literally just doing stage 2 over and over again until I feel like I can manage, until I feel like I at least have a plan for how I manage that attack without using a bomb. What's weird is that like that's literally the only attack in like the front half of the game that does this for me, but there's just something about it that is not visually clear to me how I'm. The other thing I need to practice on, and there's not really any way to practice other than just like doing it over and over again, is working on my death bomb timing. And I've explained why that's so important before, but basically I don't want to be losing a life while I still have bombs on the table. Alright. Hope you all love beloved tomboyish daughter. Oh shit, I did that wrong. Okay, let's try this again. Nope, okay. In fact, let me stop attacking you. I just want to practice this. Nope. Okay, where am I going to find space in this attack? I guess moving in and out of it to the side is an option, but the problem with moving in and out of it to the side is that the damage that I deal to Cherno suddenly drops off incredibly. And if that happens, then I wind up having to fight the whole segment rather than just DPSing her and moving on, you know? So ideally, I want to find some solution to this that allows me to still do DPS, but which means staying in the middle where she's in my line of fire, but also, you know, without dying. But yeah, other than that, like, it's amazing that just that one attack, more so than any other part of her fight. Hong Mei Ling's fights are difficult, right? But at least, like, it's very visually obvious how you're meant to dodge them. I think what's stopping me here is, like, there's this gap between... It's not immediately registering to me how do I move through that. I think part of it is going to be finding there must be like a spot, not a spot. It's not like there's a Cherno spot like on her other fight. I mean, like specifically like the way that the race in that attack kind of arcs through itself. There has to be a safe spot in there that's not immediately visually obvious. And if I can figure out what that is. Thanks, Dayose. Okay. Man, I wish I like, it's times like this where I really wish I had a save state thing on this so I could just you know, pop right to the attack I wanted to practice over and over, but, you know. 2 decades of gaming best practices later. I think it's also possible for me to dodge those big things by going through them, but I have no desire to do that when I can still end that phase just by doing it. Okay. So let's try this. Oh, hold on. That had promise. Okay. Okay, so I definitely don't want to be towards the rear of that. Because being towards the rear of it means I have to deal with more of the stuff coming down. It's like I want to be kind of like middle present in it and want to deal with like the top of it rather than more layers of it crunching in on themselves. Gonna be the stream where we hear Lunate Elf and Beloved Tomboyish Daughter over and over for 60 minutes. But it'll be worth it if by the end of this I have a way of getting past this without vomiting. After that point, I'm going to start doing full game runs again and then seeing where my weak spots are in that point, like where it's not obvious where I need to dodge and where I can practice. There's a lot of parts in the game where it's difficult, but it's also like I know what I have to do, so just sitting here trying to practice to find a route won't really help me that much. Like, a lot of Sakia's fights are very difficult, but, like, I also know what I need to do in them already, so it's... practicing them on their own is not going to be as helpful as just, you know, doing my runs at that point. Alright, Cherno. Okay. Nope. Okay, that was obviously wrong. Maybe the trick is to be farther up the screen? No. Maybe the trick is just to weave in and out, like... Great music on repeat? The horror, exactly. Okay. Hard. Okay. Oh, shit. Whatever. Let me try weaving out in and out this time. Nope. Just gonna... No. Okay. You know what would be really helpful for this? If I had, like, some way of tracing where her attacks went on the screen, and then I could just look at the totality of what was covered and just be like, okay, I can move through this section or this section and this section safely. I felt bad for that one. I was just bullying Diose. Oh. Alright. So if we're doing this as we're actually meant to. So if we're good, we only really need to get our way through the first. If we're really, like, actually on point with how much we're damaging her, we only need to make our way through one wave of that attack. Let's see. Also, I know I mentioned this last time we were streaming, but I hope everyone likes the new Stream Babe art. Bike and dabbing. It's done by the same artist, hi Don here, who did the Kyoko stream art. And this one was based off of Baiken's Zakuro attack, making her look like she dabs AC plus R. And I'm like, that's funny. I could have that on my stream, and then I asked for it, and then I paid someone money, and now it's a thing. So let's try just, if we're bombing her the entire time, right, and we want to get through this. Moving back and forth like that actually seems like a good idea. Hold on. Let's try that. I know I just said the phrase moving back and forth aloud like that actually describes what I have in my head, but I promise I noticed something that's... I'm going to try now. I almost feel bad for Diose now. That's just bullying. Nope, that didn't help. Okay, let me stop attacking so I can try this again. Well. I think I have an idea. Let me see if I can... I'm torn between wanting to just, like, practice bobbing and weaving and only wanting to practice as much as I actually need to in order to beat her, right? Because I'm not going to sit there and try to time her out by dodging. If I was going to do that, I'd go from left to right rather than trying to stay in the middle. The idea is to take her down as quickly as I can while I'm attacking her and staying in the middle. Okay. Cool. Full power. I don't even want to talk about it. Oh, that was... Alright, well, whatever. That's not what I'm here to work on at the moment, so... Oh my god! Okay. Did I hallucinate that, or did her attack move to follow me after a certain point? I feel like something hinky happened there, but... Man, why is it that one attack that is just so hard to figure out? I don't know, is it obvious to y'all how I meant to deal with that one? I could always just, like, bite the bullet and decide to bomb it, and, like, I guess the bombing is the backup, right? But I don't want to use a life this early if I can avoid it, especially on something I can just practice and work on. Cherno's a toughie. She is the strongest. And the thing is, it's not like she's actually tough aside from this one attack. It's this one attack that has a pattern that is so difficult to grok. Yeah, you just dodge it. Thank you, Eat a Poo Poo. I don't know why I hadn't thought of that before. Okay. That's not it. Huh. Potential there. Want to reserve for when necessary to survive in harder bosses than stage 2. Yeah, exactly. Sort of being better at the game, that might help. Thank you, Evie. You know what? You know what? I think you're onto something. Evading the attack, obviously. You're right! You know what? I'm so lucky that I have, like, extreme audience that is so... that y'all are so smart and good at this game. Where would I be without y'all? say my solution, but I quite like the unhelpful audience member role. Fair enough. That's not bad. Hold on. What that was, hold on, everyone. What's up, Viv? No, you shouldn't, yeah, hold on, let me. I think we just figured it out. Okay, I didn't know if it had the little divot like it did on the other one. Microphone talk, don't mind me. Yeah, they do. No, don't do that. No! Alright. I think we figured it out, but let's do a couple more runs just to get, like, the feel for this. Oh, also, Viv, how do you feel about vegan today? For lunch later. I'm not suggesting that we eat vegans. I'm suggesting that we get food from the vegan food cart place that we both enjoy. Okay. I feel like you are purposely misunderstanding me, and the audience only gets to hear my half of the conversation, so I sound like a raving lunatic.
Oh. I'm so good at that.
What? Making me sound like a lunatic? Thanks, Viv. Why would it seem 60% relatables eat human beings? Excuse me, we are 80% relatables, and I'll thank you to remember our correct percentage. Chat yourself, evading it really was the right solution. You're right, Henri. You're right. Man, if only I had thought to start evading the thing sooner. Or maybe if I had like a cup of coffee or something to help me motivate. Thanks, Viv. All right, let's do this again. Okay, I know I got hit there, but I think that is the right solution. Oh, whatever. I'm just not going to practice this again. That's what's going to happen now. So what we did was, like, going up the right side there, we only need to, like, evade, like, two rounds of that stuff, and it's only, like, part of it if we kind of join it as purposely close to the top of that. You know how the bullets come down and they kind of form, like, a little semicircle? They're in an arc, right? If we get them as close to the top of the arcs coming together as possible, we can dodge as few of them rather than trying to dodge them coming in from both sides. I'm explaining this poorly, but I assure you that it makes sense in my head, and that's what matters to me. Time to bully the other fairy. No! Oh, I fucked that up. I should have been... I didn't see that there was a big one over there until too late. Unoptimized. Poor gameplay. 0 out of 10. There it is. Why dodge a 100 bullet when simply dodge the dodging entirely? There you go. 81.6% relatable. Okay, so actually, true story. The 80% is kind of a rounding thing. The true percent relatable is like 82.4, but 82% relatable doesn't really roll off the tongue as easily, so. Oh, fuck. How did I die to that attack? Let's not talk about that, alright? Anyway, here we go. So yeah, if we get kind of up close to the top, right? That didn't help, turns out. If I just kind of get hit still. But yeah, moving up like that. Let's try that one more time. Oh, thank you. Oh, huh. I do think this is going to be the strat, though, so that way we only have to dodge that part of the upper curve instead of trying to bob and weave through the entirety of the onslaught. I think just a couple more rounds of this and we'll have at least a strategy for how to deal with this down pat. Yo, hi, Mivadata. Hiccups, but I'm otherwise well. I'm glad to hear that. How's it hanging? We're doing pretty well. We're working on finding a solution to a particular bullet pattern during this fight. So that way I don't need to rely on just bomb spam to get through it. Because despite how easy the rest of the level and her fight is, there's one bullet pattern from Cherno that seems to always give me difficulty, this one right here. So let's try our new strat now. Oh god, that's so easy. Oh, that's so much easier. Oh my god. Okay, so what we're doing now. Do you want to download the soundtrack? Touhou 6 definitely has like one of the best soundtracks consistently through the entire game. So now what we do is we just kind of weave into one of the lanes and then just work our way up and out that lane before they start colliding sideways. And I think that's enough. I'm sure you've heard Touhou music before, Pou, but definitely I feel like one of the reasons I decided to play Touhou 6 as my first one was because of how good the soundtrack for this game in particular was. This one has a bunch of my favorite, a bunch of songs in it that were my favorite before I started playing the games. Stuff like Beloved Tomboyish Girl, Lunar Clock, Lunar Dial, UNO and Was Her, Septet. Turns out this one's just full of fucking bangers. I'm fulfilling when a pattern you do not comprehend before suddenly becomes surprisingly doable. Right? Okay, but now here's the thing. Can I keep doing it? Can I keep doing it? Okay. Oh my god! That's actually so easy! Oh my god! There it is! Oh, we did it, we did it, we've done it. Okay. That makes a huge difference in the early game for this run. So now what we're gonna want to do is get runs where we can consistently get no hit, right? No hit, no life lost, no bomb. Through... Oh, fuck, I'm on the wrong side of this. Oh, get that graze up. There we go. Yeah, so now what we're going to want to practice on is getting the early parts of our runs more consistent so we have more resources to deal with later in the game. Also working on the bomb trigger, getting bombs, making sure that I'm not dying with bombs still on the table. And essentially we're going to want to get a clean run now through at least level 3. I think getting no bombs, no hits through at least level 3 is going to have to be the standard. We can probably get through level 4 with a little bit of luck without using bombs or getting hit. The level 5 and level 6 are going to obviously that we want to have most of our resources for level 6. But level 5 also is going to have some parts of it where it's just like, okay, I need to. And we can practice those levels more individually as well. But figuring out how to deal with this one very early particular thing is just... Oh, that helps so much. That has been the bane of my existence for a long time now. I'm never going to play like this, by the way. I have no idea how anyone could keep track of that many things going on the screen at once. That looks like a fucking nightmare. Yeah, that's a nightmare to me. Just casually traveling up to the top of the screen there. No NBD. This part's fine because they're the rice beams are traveling in like rows, so you could just pick up a spot between them. That part's fine. Also, remember, all of this work and effort is going towards beating the game on normal difficulty. Admittedly, no continue clear, right? That's still important, but still on normal difficulty. Don't even ask me about hard or lunatic. That's I don't see hard or lunatic clears in my future, but I do think with work we can make the normal one happen, and then we can unlock the special bonus boss for this. That is what I would like to. Just a reminder, like that's the eventual goal. Is I want to beat the fight against Flandre, and to do that we have to unlock that, and to do that we have to beat normal at least on no continues. Baby steps. Anyway, I feel good about this. Let's end this part here. I'm gonna put up a quick. Sorry, Biken. Thanks for keeping us company during Toho moment. I'm going to put up. Gonna get Shibuya set up. Our microphones don't work on Linux?
Yeah.
Fucked up.
Or at least not if you plug them in with the USB way. It'd probably work if I had an audio interface that worked with Linux and plugged it in.
Gotcha.
But when you plug it into a Linux computer, what happens is it just goes into an infinite loop of, you know how when you first plug it in, it's initializing and the lights blink for a while before it turns on?
Yes.
It just infinitely loops through disconnecting, reconnecting with the lights blinking.
I see. I need my Fruit Lube. Alrighty. I got myself refilling my coffee. Glass of water. Okay, let's play more 428. Or Shibuya. Or we will in a moment here once I get my controller working. Let's reset this. Game doesn't like it unless the controller's plugged in from the moment I start it up. God. I am surprised that no one has tried to do another VN like this. Or if there is, and I don't know about it, then y'all need to absolutely tell me about it, because... Alright, so Tama, shift over. Right, okay. So first thing we want to do is we want to go back in Tama's time chart here. And we want to then pass it off to the other person, right? We want to force it off on the businessman to our left, so that way Sasayama does not end up with the drink. Clutching the free sample in my furry fist, I try to force it off on the businessman to my left. Here you go, sir. A free sample of Burning Hammer, the latest and greatest diet drink. The businessman flashes me a look of utter contempt and makes a point of avoiding me as he slips past. There goes the wind right out of my sails. What are the other mascots doing about now? Okay, now it switches back to where we were. Okay, cool. So, having made this decision then, we should be able to get farther now with Kano. Right? I don't think either of these ones made a difference yet, but oh, right, this one does the staring contest one. Right, okay. So now we should be able to get through this part without dying. How could someone look at this beautiful big-headed creature with contempt? Because Tama is... I don't know, mascots make me uncomfortable. You gotta stop staring at everyone. Thanks, Sasayama. Alright, so now Sasayama is not gonna hand us the fucking death drink. Can we speed through this? Let me see. Suspect. Right, because this is all the same. Oh, no, okay, no. Now we're switching. The suspect, meanwhile, was still staring out the window. The announcer's electronic voice filled the train compartment. Next stop, Harajuku. Next stop, Harajuku. Huh? Kano almost cried out. The suspect was moving toward the exit door. Apparently, he was only taking the train one station down the line. The train pulled into Harajuku Station, and the man got off. The detectives following him disembarked accordingly. Tama tried to get me to drink a questionable diet drink that burns my calories. I would simply down it into my stomach against my better judgment. There you go. The suspect walked along the platform and took a seat on an empty bench. Was he checking to see if he had a tail? Sticking around on the platform at a station where you just got off was pretty unusual behavior. Not wanting to arouse the man's suspicion, the investigators from the MPD made their way down the stairs as inconspicuously as they could. Kano, however, had a sudden inspiration and went to speak to one of the station attendants. Sorry to bother you, but I think I left something on the train just now. He tried to keep an eye on the man on the bench as he felt his story to the attendant. The suspect sat silently on the bench, attaché case clutched securely in his arms. He didn't really look like he was checking for a tail. Was he waiting here for someone else, then? What are you up to, my dude? Before long, a train heading counterclockwise around the loop arrived. The man rose from the bench and stepped up to the boarding area. Wait, what the heck? This guy got on the counterclockwise train. Wouldn't that just take him right back to Shibuya Station? The man boarded the train. Kano had no choice but to follow suit. Was this guy playing them? Yeah, what is the deal with all the briefcase passing? It's just to keep them busy, right? Like, the idea is that they're trying to just keep their pursuers busy following them by going in loops and passing it off and never actually going anywhere to distract them from something else that's happening that we don't know about. Also, how's the game volume? Let me know if that needs to come up some here. The suspect got off once again as the train reached Shibuya. All he'd done was go to Harajuku and come right back. Oh, my lapel microphones. Kano reported into Kuze. The suspect has returned to Shibuya Station. Acknowledged. Keep tailing him. Kano felt himself growing increasingly paranoid. This criminal organization didn't seem too keen on getting away. And here was HQ giving these guys free rein. Something was off. He was sure of that. It seems like the dude giving us orders, Kuze, is just trying to keep us busy following them around rather than pursuing the actual leads right now. Maybe he's in on it. As he tailed the mark, Kano took out his phone. What were Tateno's instincts about the case right now? If the senior detective had any advice, Kano would love to hear it. He dialed Tateno's number. The line rang a few times, but nobody picked up. Probably he was too busy seeing to Hitomi's safety. Kano felt bewildered. They'd been letting the suspect lead them around for over an hour now. During an abduction case, you generally didn't update the victim's family on any developments in case they tried to interfere. Kano could only imagine what the Osawa family was going through right now. After a short walk from Shibuya Station, the attaché case was handed off yet again. This time, the recipient was a tall, dark-skinned man. Again, the Shibuya-based task force split into 2 groups in order to tail both suspects. Kano stuck with the man who had the case. As the previous man had done, the newest suspect wandered around Dogenzaka for a while. Repeatedly looping around and around the same locations was a weirdly roundabout way to make a series of handoffs. Excuse me, detective? Oh, who the hell is this? Kano turned around with a start. Oh, hey, he said. I know you. It was Leland Palmer, the lecturer who had been an eyewitness to the kidnapping. The man practically radiated concern. Hold on, I'm going to give this guy like a thick American, like, how is Maria doing? Is she all right? Oh, no, this guy. No, that was wrong. This guy. I am very worried for her. His Japanese was more halting now. My heart, it is with her family. Kano gave a quick look around. It didn't appear that they were being watched. Leland Palmer, huh? Yeah, what a great name. Do we let ourselves talk to Palmer for a while, or let's talk to him for a bit. Maybe Palmer knew more than he'd told the police earlier. If Kano talked to him now, he might get some additional clues. Actually, Leland, do you mind if I ask you a few more questions about the party where the kidnapping occurred? Leland squared his shoulders. No, please, ask anything. Do you know what time Maria showed up at the event? Leland hesitated, thinking. Probably around 6 o'clock? She was there when it started. Was there anyone else who stood out? Stood out? How? Like someone you usually wouldn't expect to see there. Huh. Leland tilted his head. No, I don't think so. Everyone there was a student from my class, including the exchange students. Not much new here, Kano thought. He decided to ask one last question. Did you happen to hear why Hitomi was running late in the first place? Oh, no, sorry, I'm not very helpful, am I? Leland dipped his head in apology. It's all right, thank you for your cooperation. Please, help Maria. I will. No, wait, no, he's doing the... Please help Maria. I will. Kano parted ways with Leland and went back to tailing his suspect. Well, that didn't accomplish anything. He pulled his phone from his pocket. It was Rumi again. It was weird that she called twice when she knew he was in the middle of something important. Had something happened while she was waiting at the cafe with Shizuo? Kano picked up hurriedly. Hey, what's the matter? What's the matter? You know what the matter is. Rather than Rumi's soft soprano... Oh. Thanks. I love this thing where sound novels don't tell you who's talking until after the line. Rather than Rumi's soft soprano, it was a threatening masculine voice that came over the phone. Leland is just Krause during puberty. Yes! Yes, 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 he is. What's the matter? You know what the matter is. Uh-oh. Kano felt his whole body stiffen with dread. Is this my father-in-law speaking? Don't remember being anyone's father-in-law. The speaker's tone was firm and flat. No, I know, I just, Kano found himself at a loss for words. So you're dating my daughter, huh? Sir, yes, sir. Kano barely squeaked out his reply. Thinking about getting married, huh? Sir, yes, sir, and speaking of which, I'd love the chance to sit down and have a nice long... Then how long are you going to keep me waiting, huh? Hurry up and get your ass over here. Oh, how very much Kano wished he could do exactly that. Sir, I would, but... Forget it. The words came in an angry huff. You can't have her. Goodbye. What? Sir, please wait. As Kano cried in desperation, he heard Rumi's voice on the other end of the line. Dad, you can't just use my phone like that. You were taking too long in the bathroom. Give it back. Rumi? Kano tried and failed to keep the heartbreak out of his voice. Sweetie, what's wrong? Your father just said he doesn't want us getting married. What, Dad? What did you say to my boyfriend? Listen to you. Calling that boy little pet names and whatnot. I think you're a little too attached. Daddy, you haven't even met him. That's why I told you to have him come see me. How long is he going to make me wait? Kano listened as the two argued on the other end of the phone. The phone must be lying somewhere between them. Could this get any more awkward? Rumi, I'm sorry, Kano shouted apologetically into the mouthpiece. This is all my fault. Please, you don't have to fight like this. The phone clattered as Rumi scrambled to bring it to her cheek. No, I'm the one who should be sorry. Sorry for what? Oh, sorry for what? It was Shizuo again, grumbling in the background. You have nothing to apologize for. I'll deal with my father, Rumi said hastily. You just focus on work, sweetie. I know you're in the middle of something really important. Thanks, Rumi. Kano was legitimately touched. I'll do my best. Kano hung up and went back to the task at hand, more determined than ever. Why you gotta be so rude? For Rumi's sake, not to mention the victims, he needed to focus on cracking this case. The man he was tailing was walking several meters ahead. There was no telling when Kuze might give the arrest order. Kano braced himself to spring into action the very instant the order came down. Mobile command to all units. Once more, the director's voice came in over the wireless. Was it time to make the arrest at last? We've identified the man who first picked up the attaché case by the statue of Hachiko. No arrest yet then, but still a crucial development. His name is Tariq Al-Karawan. He's got priors for larceny, illegal possession of narcotics, you name it. He belongs to a foreign criminal syndicate that's operating in Shibuya. Kano felt his apprehension rising. If this syndicate was behind the kidnapping, they were anything but amateurs. And though they might be leading the police on a wild goose chase, they certainly weren't playing around. To be continued. All right, so I think that means we've reached the end of Kano's block for this hour. We might wind up needing to change his decision. Let's see, to be continued. Because what was the decision point here? Right, whether or not to talk to Leland. We might wind up needing to change that decision, but for right now, it seems like we're doing okay. So time chart. Who else hasn't made it? We haven't done we haven't even touched Minorikawa or Osawa yet. Tama reached a bad end. Right, Tama reached a bad end because right, because we gave them the correct directions to the building. So if we go back to Achi here. Right, not that one, but this one. So let's talk to the Yakuza-looking guys again and give them the wrong and tell them the other way this time. I don't like the thought of these two following Hitomi and me. Achi pointed them in the opposite direction from Center Guy. I don't like the thought of these two dudes following Hitomi and me. Achi then pointed them in the opposite direction from Center Guy. Pretty sure it's that way, he said. Thanks, man. Sorry to bug ya. The two men headed off toward the main road. All right, and this shouldn't change anything more in Achi's story, I don't think. Okay, so now that we've made that change that decision, let's go back to Tama. Yep. Oh, now we're back. Yep. So the rest of the Tama timeline was undone, and now we're back here. Let's go back to Stuck in the Cat costume. I decide to. What do we do? I decided to grab the head in both hands and yank it upward with all my might. Huh. Oh, come on. No matter how hard I pull, it won't come off. Ow. A dull pain throbs at the back of my head. Did I smack it against something at some point? Cheery flashes me a curious look. What are you doing? She asks. I thought maybe I could at least get the head off. I try pulling again, refusing to give up. Well, that ain't gonna work. That thing's attached to the body. Right. All right, and then we get back to this section again. Then she feeds us. We get some really good background animations. Man, I love this game. So, let's speed up ahead here. Because we read all this last time. This is going to be the same. What'll start changing is when we get to the part where the two Yakuza might have come in. Hold it right there. All right, here we go. So this is new now. The door flies open suddenly and a loud voice belts out, "Hold it right there." I whirl around in a panic to see an odd-looking man standing in the doorway. It's Junichi Yanagashita. He's the guy who hired us. I heard that, Cheery. Don't you go calling my product junk. That's disrespectful. Cheery gave him an apologetic look. Whoops, I'm sorry about that. You should be, but whatever. If you really have doubts, have a try for yourself. Mr. Yanagashita pulls a bottle of burning hammer from his coat pocket. At first glance, it looks like some kind of energy supplement, but the cheapo label gives it an immediate impression of sketchiness. My phone's dying, so I G2G. No worries. Thanks for coming, Powu. Go on, says Yanagashita. Give it a go. Cherry reaches out to take it. No sooner does she grab the bottle than Mr. Yanagashita shouts out once more. But wait, hold on. What? Cheery squawks. What gives? You two, you're both good, stomach-wise. Stomach-wise? Yeah, drinking the stuff on an empty stomach can cause some pretty nasty problems. So just make sure you eat or drink something beforehand. Doesn't matter what, really. Wait, nasty problems? Yeah. Such as what? I ask. I'd rather not say. Nobody would buy it otherwise. Seriously? It's all good. I just had lunch, Cheery says. She flashes a carefree smile. Well, I haven't eaten yet. On the other hand, I've been guzzling as much iced tea as I can to fill myself up. It's probably safe for me to try this stuff. Okay. So, I think we know what happens if we do drink it. I think we're going to get in because we saw what happened when Kano did. So, let's just give it a try. May as well try it then. In for a penny, in for a pound. Hey, maybe it'll help me lose some weight. We're the cat now, and we're
That's wonderful.
we're stick the bottle of burning hammer into my mascot head mouth. Yo, Mosca, welcome to the stream. You're just in time for Shibuya. It has an unexpected smell, kind of like curry. Getting my own lips around the mouth of the bottle, I gulp down the liquid inside. Huh? It doesn't taste like anything, actually. A handful of seconds go by. Oh, no! What the hell? It feels like a firecracker just exploded inside of my mouth. Now it's spicy. Way too spicy. It's like I just swallowed a chili pepper coated in curry powder. Before I know it, I'm sweating bullets. Well, you sweating? Mr. Yanagashita asks. Like a whole lot? You are, aren't you?
He looks like God from Oyasumi Punpun.
A little bit, yeah. He's got the hair. Why does he sound so happy about that? That right there is the magic of burning hammer at work. Cheery and I are at a loss for words. Burning hammer. Drink all you want and just burn those pounds away. How's that sound? Good, huh? Hey! I'm dying. This is just so This is just so stupid spicy, it makes you sweat. I can't summon it anymore. This is just so stupid spicy that it makes you sweat. Cheery blurts out. Blunt to the point. I approve. Yeah, well, I guess you're right. Yanagashita says. He hangs his head. What is in this stuff? I ask. I can feel my tongue tingling. Heck, my body is almost too numb to move. I'm so shocked I even forget to properly be angry. Tama looks like she's drowning in the floor. I know, someone save her. So this health food product that got imported from America a few years back. Yanagashita explains. But the import agency went out of business not long after, and it couldn't move the merch. So I bought up the whole lot, everything they had in their storehouse. Spent all the money I had on it. Cheery arches an eyebrow. How much did it cost you? She asks. 1 million yen for 300 bottles. I can scarcely believe my ears. 300 bottles at 1 million yen for the lot? That's roughly 3,333 yen a piece. That's like 33 bucks for a bottle of that stuff. If I'm paying 33 bucks for like a 5-hour energy style drink, it better be like, I don't know, the filtered piss of the gods or something. Each one of these teensy little bottles cost over 3,000 yen? You got ripped off, man. Cheery says. You really think so? Yeah, you're probably right. He hangs his head even more despondently. This is the sort of thing that they'd sell in 100 yen shops or something. Ouch. Cheery moving in for the kill. 100 yen shops, really? Mr. Yanagashita lets out the heaviest of sighs. I'm starting to feel pretty bad for the guy, actually. Don't let it get you down, sir, I say, hoping to comfort him. Mr. Yanagashita just lets out a sob-choked sigh. A sigh. A deep breath. I'm glad that we have a tip for this. A deep breath emphatically exhaled, often a sign of disappointment, stress, or unrequited love. Also a way of expressing the anxiety brought on by massive debt. One has no money to give, only sighs. Right around now, Minoru Minorikawa is in the company of someone inclined to sigh this way. It'll be okay. Whether or not it helps you lose weight, it is spicy, and it does make you sweat. Even buying idle bathwater sounds like a better and more beneficial life decision than that, right? Like, what could be worth that much per pound, you know? Or not per pound, but like volume-wise. I'm not sure I follow. Cheeria says. How much you selling these bottles for, boss? 15,000 yen per bottle. Hey! Selling all 300 bottles would yield proceeds of 4.5 million yen. After deducting expenses such as the cost of the product, rental fee for the venue, pay for the part-timers, and printing flyers, this yields a net profit of roughly 2.5 million yen. It's doubtful that anyone would pay 15,000 yen for a single small bottle, but you never know. There could be a few housewives or young women out there who'd fork out that much in the name of weight loss. A terrifying thought. Well, that's fucked up. What? Cheery's jaw practically hits the floor. Mine does the same. No way. No freaking way. Calling that price point absurd wouldn't begin to do it justice. Well, looking at selling it at that price is my only option. I need to cover my costs. Anyway, please, I need you both to work your hardest. Apparently he's committed to this insane course of action. Okay, Cheery replies. It's more like a sigh than a proper response, but I can't really blame her. As for me, I can't. Okay. Perfect business model. You don't sell the product to the client, but sell the client to the product. There you go. We won't just sit here and take this. I can't just sit here and not speak up. Isn't this just a scam, sir? Sorry, I can't hear you.
Yanagashita plays dumb. Fine, I repeat myself. This is just a scam, isn't it? He tilts his head to one side.
Huh, something's wrong with my ear.
Undeterred, I repeat myself once more. This is a scam, isn't it? Tears are welling up in Mr. Yanagashita's eyes.
Look, kid.
He says huskily.
Listen up.
He's clearly struggling to maintain his calm.
You're in the grown-ups world now.
I nod a few times.
But a scam...
But a scam is still a scam, right? I say.
You!
Sir?
What is your name again?
Oh, it's Tama.
Okay, Tama, why are you still wearing your costume?
You straight up dodged my question. Well, at least I tried. I explained the situation with my suit.
Wow, so then you're going to do the sales demo like that?
Well, if I can't take off the mascot costume, then I don't have much of a choice, do I?
No, that won't do at all. I hired you to be a model. Wearing that thing, then what's the point?
I'm at a loss for words. The point is exactly what he's missing. It's not like I'm wearing this getup because I want to.
How about we just cut it off for ya?
Cheery says with a big grin. She pulls out a massive pair of scissors from her bag. The blades make an unsettling snip, snip sound as she waggles them in my face.
Whoa, you can't do that.
Yanagashita exclaims.
That suit's a rental. I don't want to have to reimburse them for the thing.
Well, then what am I supposed to do? I ask. He looks at me uncertainly.
Maybe you could just have someone from the rental place come down. Oh, wait, that's Cheery. Maybe you could just have someone from the rental place come down.
Cheery suggests, before helping herself to the rest of my lunch.
I think instead of trying to get people to buy this stuff, it'd be better just to use it to murder people, steal their money, profit, steal their bodies, sell half, use half for a better drink. Boom! See? Better business plan already. Already. Yo, that's a good idea.
Yanagashita says. He seems to be making an effort to calm himself down at least.
Just try to grin and bear it until then, Tama.
Well, I guess that's that then. I'm sure we'll get it off eventually, I say. Hopefully before the demo.
That's the spirit. I really need you to be my model.
A model, huh? It's flattering, but I can't help that. I wonder, would I be any good at that? Well, there's no time to be timid. I need that money no matter what. My troubles all started earlier this morning.
Oh, we're getting flashbacks now, huh?
I was at a knick-knack shop on Center Guy. Happened to pass by and I spotted a red necklace on display in the storefront. I got this weird sensation when I saw it. You could call it deja vu? Something like that. As if I'd been drawn to it somehow. This was mine. I was sure of it. I wanted it. Now I needed to make it mine. As soon as I possibly could. That's how strong the feeling was. The price was 40,000 yen. I checked my wallet repeatedly, but I only had 20,000 on me. Nonetheless, I needed to have it. There was just one question. How? Somehow I managed to drag myself away from the shop. Just a few minutes later, I ran into Mr. Yanagashita.
Hey!
A voice said out of nowhere.
If you want, I can pay you 10,000 for a day's work.
I found myself staring at this frumpy middle-aged man who was handing me his business card.
Managing Director Junichi Yanagashita, Yamato Health Foods Company Limited. Hey! I'm in a real bind here. Need some extra help? Would you mind coming with me? I'm begging you, just one day.
Seemed pretty sketchy. Much as I needed money for that necklace, I wasn't going to go anywhere with some random weirdo. I ignored him and just tried to walk it off.
Please, please.
Yanagashita grabbed me by the hand. Watch it, pal, I snapped. Hands off or I started shouting for the help.
Please, it's not like that. Just hear me out. Would you buy a car of that face? Yes. This cat is terrible with money. Relatable. Very relatable.
I'm in a hurry.
Please, please.
Knock it off. I spun forcefully away from him, yanking my hand from his grip. Wapow! Force push! Yanagashita whirled through the air and fell into the bushes.
Whoa, where'd that come from?
He gasped. His eyes were wide as saucers.
You a martial artist or something?
No, I think that was just a fluke. The truth was, I surprised myself at how well I'd pulled off that escape move.
Okay, then. Look, I'm sorry. Can you give me a hand?
Nope.
No, I mean, give me your hand. My hip's killing me here. Ow.
I guess. The least I could do was help him to his feet. Look, why are you hounding me so much?
Please don't be angry. The moment I saw you, I just felt it. You're the only person who could possibly do this job for me.
I let out a sigh, but my interest was admittedly piqued. What kind of job did you have in mind?
I need a sales rep for a health supplement. I want you to do PR as a dieting success story for my product. Just look at you. You have the body of an actress. Sales are going to go through the roof.
Well, it's hard to feel too offended when he told me that. The job didn't seem as fishy as I'd initially suspected. All right, maybe I'm interested, I said. There's just one thing.
Yeah, whatever it is. I'm sure I can handle it.
I need 20,000 yen as soon as possible. So if the day only pays 10,000...
Oh, well, all right, then. If you could sell 100 bottles at our sales event, I'll throw in another 10,000 as a bonus. How's that sound?
Well, I certainly couldn't think of any other way I was going to earn 20,000 yen in a single day. This might be the break I needed. You've got a deal. You have my services for the day, I said, bowing my head.
Yeah!
Yanagashita jumped for joy. What about your hip?
Huh? Oh, right. Yeah, it's better now. All better. Fixed itself just now. Hey!
Yanagashita bowed deeply as I gave him a dubious look.
Look, I'm sorry.
He added hurriedly.
I wasn't trying to pull a fast one on you. I keep switching back into Achi's voice. Wasn't trying to pull a fast one on you, honest. I was just scouting for talent, and I saw you, and well...
Was trusting this guy really the best idea? I was starting to worry just a little bit about whether he'd actually pay up.
Look, I've staked everything on the sales demo later today.
He went on.
This is a make-or-break opportunity of a lifetime.
Sure.
I'll be honest with you. I'm in a ton of debt. 2 million yen. 2 million.
Yanagashita's tone had taken on a feverish intensity.
If I don't pay it back by the end of the day, then boy howdy am I up the creek without a paddle.
How did you even get into a situation like that? He gazed skyward, a far-off look in his eyes.
Because even if he knows he has no chance of winning. Sometimes a man just has to stand and fight. But I guess a girl like you wouldn't understand.
He laughed and smiled at his own words, but he was right. I sure as heck didn't understand it in the slightest.
Anyway, real quick, could you put this on?
Mr. Yanagashita briskly rummaged through his bundle, then thrust a cat costume out toward me. What? Here?
Yeah, before the sales event, you gotta hand out some samples. The burning hammer in the sample bottles is cut 10 parts to 1 with water. Even so, it is intensely spicy, and drinking it on an empty stomach is sure to cause gastrointestinal distress, or even make the drinker black out. It's hard to believe that a sample of something so dangerous would win over so many customers, but you never know. There could be housewives or young women out there who would accept such a risk in the name of weight loss. Another terrifying thought. The job's already started, you know?
And with that, Mr. Yanagashita went about getting me into the mascot suit. Little did I know that this is the suit I would die in. Looking back on it, it was a pretty ridiculous turn of events. Still, if I'm going to have to get my hands on that necklace, I have to take the chance that this job will pay out. There's a knock at the door.
Huh? Who could that be?
Mr. Yanagashita asks.
We got a customer already?
He opens the door and heads outside.
No way is that a customer.
Chiri says.
I mean, right?
She guzzles from her 2-liter bottle of iced tea.
No one's gonna buy something as sketchy as this.
I guess not. I agree. But the only thing I can really say about burning hammer is that it's spicy.
Anyhow, want to get something to eat?
But you just ate lunch. 2 lunches.
I know this amazing Chinese buffet. You want to come along? Because I am going to dominate.
Huh?
Someday I plan to chow my way through every item on their menu.
Before I can respond, I hear a sudden outburst in the hallway.
What the hell are you thinking selling something like this?
The voice sounds harsh and strained. It's quickly followed by another voice. Mr. Yanagashita sounding desperately apologetic.
Well, be fair, now I did ask whether or not you were on an empty stomach. Hey!
Must have given someone else burning hammer, huh?
Cheery nods. Yeah, maybe.
But that's weird. Did we really get a customer this early? Yeah, isn't the sales demo not until 1 o'clock? There are more sounds from the hallway. Cheery gets a weird look on her face. Whoa, what? What the heck? What is going on? Die! Suddenly, a man kicks down the door and bursts in, shrieking like a madman. His face is flushed. Steam is erupting from every pore. Cheery and I can only stare, frozen with bewilderment as he rampages around the room, smashing everything in sight. In a matter of moments, the venue is completely totaled. Then the guy simply charges back out the door. No chance of holding a sales demo now. Why did this have to happen? Who was that guy? Why did he have to do this?
Demo postponed. This game is nothing if not a series of entirely sensible courses of events. Right? I bet we need to go into, judging by his trench coat, that looked like that might have been Minorikawa. So I bet if we go over to Minorikawa now. Oh, you punching us. Okay. Super Cub 90. A motorcycle produced by Honda with an 85cc engine displacement. A common sight around town, often used by newspaper and postal delivery workers. Many owners are big enthusiasts, sometimes even swapping out parts such as the handlebars or mufflers and giving the body a repaint, resulting in fashionable bikes that don't even look like Super Cubs at first glance. The Super Cub 90 raced down Route 246 toward Shibuya. The speedometer remained at a steady 60 kph. Pumping the gas harder was no use. This was as fast as the bike would go. Minoru Minorikawa shouted as he sped along. Damn it! I am not letting you die! He jerked the handlebars and blew past the truck on the inside. The driver scowled at him as he shot by. You maniac, trying to get yourself killed? Just the opposite, Minorikawa shouted back. I'm saving lives! The stoplight ahead turned red, cutting him off at the intersection. Oh, come on! He had no choice but to slam on the brakes. But his agitation boiled over as he waited for the signal to change again. How long is this going to stay red? Hurry up already! He brought the bike up to the very edge of the line, keeping the engine revved like a dragster ready to peel out. Not on time is not in my dictionary. The light turned red. Then Minorikawa's own light turned green at last. He hit the accelerator as hard as he could. His engine died with a sputter. Oh, come on! What the hell? Car horns blared angrily behind him. In a fury, he pulled his bike over to the side of the road. No matter what he did, the engine refused to turn over. Was the problem with the spark plug, or maybe the battery? Whatever it was, he didn't have the time to figure it out now. With tears in his eyes, he left the bike, his companion of 10 years, abandoned on the roadside. He was about to break into a run when he saw a taxi dead ahead, letting out a passenger. He hurried up to hop into the cab. Just head for Shibuya Station. I'll let you know exactly where once we get closer. The taxi driver nodded, coolly. Of course, sir. 10 minutes! Huh? I need you to get me there in 10 minutes! The driver grimaced. I'm afraid getting there in 10 minutes is a bit. 15 then! Sir, that is still. Look out, that's all the time I can afford. Assuming traffic conditions cooperate, sir, then maybe. I can't make any promises. Minorikawa looked at the driver's ID photo above the fare meter. His name was Hashiro Kimizuka. He was a middle-aged fellow, looked a little rough around the edges. Mr. Kimizuka, I chose you for this. You can do it. Chose me? Sir, I'm pretty certain we met by chance. Okay, sure, I'm sure you could suppose you could phrase it that way, maybe. Anyway, can we just get going? Right, Kimizuka said with a faint sigh. I'll see what I can do. The taxi pulled away at a decent clip. Minorikawa's frantic journey had started 20 minutes earlier. He'd been at home working on an interview piece. He clucked his tongue in annoyance as the ringing phone broke his train of thought. Why did someone always call right when the words were flowing? I chose you by the God-given process in eeny, miny, mo. If he didn't keep getting interrupted, he could probably wrap up this piece in no time. Be quiet! He pointed at the telephone as he yelled. I'm writing here! But his shouting did nothing to silence the ringing. He didn't have much choice but to pick up. Minorikawa speaking. There was no response. Hello? He hesitated, ready to hang up. Was this really a prank call? It's me. It's Toyama. It was Teruo Toyama, the president of Heaven Publishing. A publishing company that puts out both hard-hitting nonfiction books and tabloid-style scandal rags. The Invincible Journalist, penned by company president Toyama himself, was a candidate for the Japan Nonfiction Prize. Oh, what do you want? If this is about work, I'm already booked pretty full. He'd taken work from Heaven Publishing on several occasions, but the pay was hardly competitive. Lately, he'd been turning them down a lot. He hadn't heard from Toyama in a while. No, this isn't work-related. Then what do you want? I'm kind of pressed for time here, working on some copy. Minorikawa was in no mood to beat around the bush. It seemed like every conversation he had with Toyama went like this. You're busy. That's good. Busy's good when you're a freelancer. Toyama sounded unusually sympathetic. Minorikawa found it off-putting. And your sales have been good on your end, he said cautiously, with this month's 4-Star General Gossip and all. 4-Star General Gossip was a monthly magazine, Heaven Publishing's flagship publication. A magazine focusing on the private lives of celebrities and politicians. Most of the articles found in its pages are random nonsense, but 1 out of every 100 or so contains an actual major scoop, making it a difficult outlet to ignore. It had a small circulation and for the most part flew under the radar, but once in a while they'd land some big scoop and sell like crazy. This month's edition had come with a free scratch card, a gimmick that had moved 100,000 copies with ease. 5 winning symbols in a row wins 100,000 yen, was it? Minorikawa asked. A weak, moist sound came through the receiver. Huh? Baffled, Minorikawa listened more closely. It came again, and then again. It kind of sounded like sobbing. Mr. Toyama, are you crying? There was another soft sob and then yet another. What's going on? Where are you? Minorikawa asked. I'm at the office, Toyama managed. He let out another mewling whimper. What's the matter? It's nothing. Well, it's gotta be something. Come on, what is it? Toyama gave no reply. Mr. Toyama, are you still there? Silence. What is it? What happened? Look, doesn't tell me anything. What the hell is going on? Toyama squeaked out a drawn-out whine. Okay, I'm sick of this. I'm hanging up now. Minorikawa was about to break the connection when he heard Toyama murmur. The only thing I can do now is die. The taxi's tires squealed as the cab rounded a corner. The shift in momentum made Minorikawa topple over in the back seat. There we go. 10 minutes on the dot, the driver announced. Minorikawa righted himself and looked at the window. Shibuya Station. I knew you could do it, Mr. Kimizuka, he told the driver how to get to Heaven Publishing. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes further. Sir, if I may ask, just what are you in such a hurry over? Son of a bitch! I beg your pardon, Kimizuka bristled. Not you, the guy who's waiting on me, Minorikawa said. I'm going to give that son of a bitch a piece of my mind. The multi-tenant building where Heaven Publishing had its offices came into view. The taxi stopped outside. Minorikawa opened the doors as he hurriedly reached for his wallet, and then he stopped. What if the worst had come to pass and he needed to take Toyama to a hospital? Should he have the taxi wait here, or would it be better to call an ambulance? Sir, is there a problem? The driver asked. No, I'm fine. You're a lifesaver. How much do I owe you? Minorikawa paid the fare and got out of the cab. I'm going to swing by the train station. If I don't get any passengers, I'll come by this way again, Kimizuka said. The taxi pulled away. Once inside, he avoided the elevator in favor of rushing up the stairs. Heaven Publishing rented out the 3rd and 4th floors. In all likelihood, Toyama would be at the editing department of 4-star General Gossip on the 4th floor. When he got there, however, the door was locked. Mr. Toyama! Hey, Mr. Toyama! He shouted and banged, but there was no reply. Something was seriously wrong. Minorikawa took a deep breath and then kicked the door in. Whoa! Toyama was standing on a stool, about to slip his head through a noose that hung from the ceiling. What the hell are you doing? Minorikawa lunged for Toyama. The two men crashed to the floor in a tangled heap. A pile of clutter slid off a nearby desk and fell on top of them. Minorikawa, what are you doing? Toyama whined. Dragging himself back to his feet proved something of a challenge. That's what I'd like to know. Minorikawa's fury was mounting. What the hell is all this about? He jabbed an accusing finger at the noose hanging from the ceiling. Oh, that. One of the fluorescent lights died, and I was just swapping it out. Don't you feed me that bull! Was that what that phone call was all about? That business about how the only thing you could do was die? Tell me! Haha, just a joke. Toyama curled his lips into a faint semblance of a smile. Minorikawa wasn't buying it, but he didn't have time to press the issue. A cute little voice echoed through the editing office. Daddy, I'm back from the store. The girl came walking in carrying a length of rubber gas tubing. It was Toyama's 5th grade daughter, Hana. That's fucking bleak. Teruo, Toyama's only daughter, currently 10 years old. The night Hana was born at Shibuya Central Hospital, there was an unexpected fireworks display outside the window of the maternity ward. As he looked out at the bursting rockets, Teruo decided to name his daughter Hana, after the Japanese word for fireworks, Hanabi. Mr. Toyama, you were planning on using that hose to... He hesitated to end his sentence with gas yourself to death. What the fuck is happening in this masterpiece of a game? I don't know what else to... This is so good! It's exactly as ridiculous as it needs to be, right? Like... Well, you know, it's almost gas heater season after all. The hell it is! It was a beautiful sunny April day outside. You know how sensitive I am to the cold. This was getting truly ridiculous. Minorikawa got right up in his face. Listen, just explain to me what the hell is going on, okay? He kept his voice low, but his eyes were steely. Hana clung tightly to her father, gazing worriedly up at the two men. No, it's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation. Keep out? Oh, we have to jump from a tip? Okay. Oh, it even gives you a jump here. Okay. So for some reason wearing his helmet while all this is going down. Why not?
Will I get you down, sir?
Oh! That's a weird way to jump, but all right. So we also have to make sure we're checking the tips as well. God, okay. It's just... Toyama let out a long, heavy sigh of resignation. The scratch cards that were in 4-star General Gossip. Scratch cards, a type of lottery card featuring areas printed with a special silver ink.
These silver-inked areas could be scratched off with just a fingertip or coin to reveal potential winnings, providing a quick speed lotto fix. In order to prevent the symbols or letters underneath the silver from showing through, the back of the card is printed in black. However, somehow, you always seem to lose when you've got your hopes up, but manage to win when you least expect it. That's where the problem is. And what's the problem? If you shine a light on the cards from behind, you can see where the winning symbols are. Whoa! I messed things up dealing with the printing company. All of this. He gestured vaguely. It's my fault. It's my responsibility. He proceeded to explain the situation in detail. Word was quick to leak on the internet that there was a way to find the winning symbols. And suddenly thousands of cardholders turned up en masse to collect. Heaven Publishing was hit with a massive financial liability, and the employees rushed to flee a sinking ship. Before Toyama realized it, he was the only one left at the company, and he was up against the deadline for next month's 4-star general gossip. If I have to drop next month's issue, I'll be stuck in debt even deeper, and if that happens, I'm finished. Toyama gave a dismal groan. So don't drop the issue, Minorikawa snapped. He pounded his fist right into the side of a cardboard box, but Toyama just shook his head weakly. I've been up for 3 days straight trying to fill the pages. It's not enough. I can't do the impossible. He dropped his gaze to the floor. Countless scratch cards lay scattered about. They'd probably been amidst the pile that had fallen off the desk earlier. Each card showed a neat row of 5 win symbols. You can't know if it's impossible if you don't see it through. I'll never make it in time. The proof needs to be done by 8 o'clock this evening. Proof, the final stage before printing, when the copy or manuscript is checked for errors. Not sending corrected proofs to the printer before the deadline can result in the book or magazine in question not making it onto the shelves in time for release day. Well then, Minorikawa thought to himself. He let out a sigh, then held his hand out to Hana. Hana, would you mind giving me that hose? Hana gave her father a quick look, then handed the rubber hose to Minorikawa. This won't be necessary. He tossed the rubber hose into the trash, then jabbed his finger at Toyama. Show me the layout and the draft proposal for next month's issue. Toyama blinked a few times in disbelief. Huh? You can't possibly be serious. I am trying to help. Now show me the layout and the proposal before I change my mind. After a brief incredulous pause, Toyama hurried off to grab the paperwork. You know, when we started Minorikawa's route, I thought he was kind of ridiculous, and now he just seems like he's being a swell dude to help out someone who's in need, so I can't argue with that. A layout, in publishing speak, is an outline of a magazine showing which articles will occupy which pages. Minorikawa gave it a quick once-over, finding that 12 of the pages were still blank and untouched. He wanted to punch whatever writers had been assigned to those pages. See what I mean? Toyama said. It's hopeless. He sounded perversely proud of his failure. Getting enough material to fill 12 pages by 8 o'clock was definitely a tall order, all right. Says who? Minorikawa replied. Remember who you're talking to here. You seriously think you can do it? You're joking, right? Minorikawa shot back. I seriously know I can do it. There's nothing in this world that I hate more than a bad joke. Why are you doing this for me? Toyama was getting misty-eyed. I'm not doing it for you, you spineless wimp. I'm doing this for poor little Hana. Minorikawa, I'm so sorry. Toyama bowed his head deeply. Minorikawa thought he might put his face to the floor. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to your daughter. Forgive me. Please forgive me, Hana. Toyama clutched her tightly in his arms. The girl hugged him back on the verge of tears. Hey, now, enough of the waterworks. I got your backs. Don't worry about a thing. Minorikawa picked up the draft proposal for the pages that needed filling. The word Shibuya Scuttlebutt Special was plastered across the cover sheet in big, bold type. Popping back in, what is this VN? Yomi Badada, we're playing 428, or Shibuya. It is pretty fucking great. It's from 2008, and it was on the Wii originally, of all consoles, and it's kind of incredible. It's a FMV. There's not video in it, but it's a sound novel with only photos and characters and actors playing all the parts, and it is fucking great. So, a 12-page special edition block on Shibuya. Fair enough. And first on the docket. Drink yourself thin with burning hammer. This reeked of a scam. The only way drinking more of something would make you lose weight would be if it were mixed in with a laxative, probably. Still, there wasn't enough time to tweak the layout plan now.
According to the proposal write-up, a product demo was scheduled for 1 p.m. that day. The location printed on the map was blurry and hard to make out, but Minorikawa had a rough idea where it was. Looked like he didn't have much of a choice but to swing by in hopes of getting more material. He scanned further along into the proposal. Society of Surveillance. Hidden cameras installed throughout Shibuya. The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Where are they now? Washed up screenwriter showcase. Sexy Squared. Twins share top prize at local university beauty contest. Shibuya now. Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. Shadowy foreign crime syndicate exposed. Those 7 pieces were to fill the 12 empty pages. That was the plan at any rate, but there wasn't enough material there to make any headway. The Shibuya Now article didn't even have any proposed content. This sucked. Hardcore. It didn't look like there was much material for the rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad either. The note suggested that a few years prior, a group of youngsters in Shibuya had banded together to help fight crime in their neighborhoods. At this point, however, things had flipped around completely, and they'd become a gang of street punks themselves. A turn to the dark side. Had to be the makings of an interesting article, to be sure, but tracking down this gang would take time. Minorikawa was personally intrigued by the one about organ harvesting in Shibuya. The rumor that was organs were being smuggled out of Southeast Asia and fenced locally at a tremendous price. There was even a plan to ascertain the authenticity of these claims. Fascinating. If Minorikawa was going to be spending all day gathering other material, though, he didn't have much time to spare for it. Shibuya Now. The rise and fall of Shibuya's vigilante squad. Black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. Minorikawa decided that one of these 3 would have to go. He thought about it long and hard as he stared at the draft proposal. There's a good chance he'd really screw himself over if he picked the wrong one. Finally, he decided to cut. I feel like C is the right answer here. Finally, he decided to cut black market organ trafficking in Shibuya. Had the potential to be the most interesting, but getting the material would take way too long. His goal was just to make sure that the gossip made it to press at all. Society of Surveillance. Where are they now? Sexy Squared. Those 3 pieces had individuals slated for interviews, but no appointments had been made with any of them. Unscheduled interviews were a dicey prospect. Minorikawa decided to call them up on his cell as he made his way down the list. The only one he managed to get a hold of was Shinosuke Orai from Where Are They Now piece. Shinosuke Orai, former broadcast writer. He has appeared on various popular variety shows on commercial network Sun TV. He currently heads a small theater troupe known as the Wandering Angels, operating out of Shibuya. Later today, the troupe is putting on a performance at Theater Ace in Sakura Gaukacho. He said he'd be willing to give a 15-minute interview after 2:30. Minorikawa sighed. He'd just have to get material from the others in a more impromptu fashion then. Putting his nose to the grindstone, he started throwing together a schedule for the day. Was it possible to get all that material and write it all up and still finish the whole thing by 8 o'clock? It was no use. No matter how he tweaked it, none of his simulations ended with him having a proof ready on time. He just needed one more thing, and that was another writer. Minorikawa zoomed through his contacts list, calling up all the freelancers he knew. The results were depressing. Answering machines, overseas on business, in the hospital, currently doing time. Before long, he'd called everyone he could think of except for one. Novice freelancer Chiaki Iso. Chiaki was a bit of an odd duck, a reporter who was scared of talking to people. Minorikawa had never known anyone who became so hopelessly flustered in a one-on-one setting. In such a rattled state as to be unable to speak. Chiaki's tendency to become flustered is famous among her freelance writer colleagues. Once she concluded an hour-long interview during which she only managed to ask her interviewers the subject's name. Yet another chapter in The Legend of Hopelessly Flustered Chiaki. If she couldn't talk to people, she certainly couldn't do interviews. And if she couldn't get any real interview content, she wouldn't be able to write much in the way of copy. Would she come to his aid if he asked? Quite probably. The issue was whether she would hinder more than help. This is no time for beggars to be choosers. He decided to call up Chiaki. The phone rang several times before a sleepy voice finally answered. Hello. Chiaki, hi, it's Minorikawa. Are you free today? Huh, what? She seemed thrown by the abrupt question. Did you just wake up? Huh, no, I mean, well, yeah. Good morning? Her voice still sounded half asleep. So that I'm guessing you don't have any work slated for today, as usual. Pretty much.
No work, no money, no food. Nothing to do except sleep. If I'm not awake, I can't dwell on how hungry I am. She didn't sound well. Almost like she literally didn't have anything to eat. Well, I've got work for you. I'm over at the 4-star General Gossip. Get over here ASAP. You really mean it? That's finally seemed to wake her up. Yeah, but hurry. Wait, I just realized what we did. We can't do this because Chiaki needs to be at the burning hammer demo. Oh no! Minorikawa decided he'd assign Chiaki to the Shibuya Now piece. I want to start by getting interviews off the street around Shibuya Station. Street interviews? Chiaki's voice came out as a nervous squeak. But Mr. Mino, street interviews aren't really my, Kid, you were just telling me how you couldn't afford to eat. Can you really afford to be picky right now? I guess not. The piece is called Shibuya Now. Just interview at least 10 people and get me an article by 6 o'clock. Okay. Quickly explained the kind of interviews he was after, then hung up. Okay, I've gotten us another writer. We'll get through Toyama somehow. Toyama shrugged gloomily. Thing is, there's actually one more problem. Are you kidding me? Minorikawa couldn't hide the irritation in his voice. What is it now? Loan company is sending a debt collector over at 4 o'clock. I can imagine I don't have a single yen to give them. That's less than ideal, yeah? So what's the plan? That provisionally, that if next month's issue gets published, they'll be willing to wait on repayment. Then there's no problem. The issue's coming out, guaranteed. I'm not going to take my word on that anymore. I'm going to need to prove it. If they'll say half the 12 pages by the time they show up, I could probably convince them. All right, Minorikawa said wearily. So for starters, we need 6 pages by 4 o'clock. They had to get all 12 pages done, as it was. They made a perfect midpoint to shoot for. Any other problems you'd like to let me know about? No, Toyama said. That's all. I really am sorry about this, Minorikawa. Again, he bowed his head low. Minorikawa felt distinctly awkward. He had known Toyama for years and had never been kowtowed to like this before. Well, just let me handle it, all right? Minorikawa unfolded a map of Shibuya. The first order of business was deciding where to begin getting content. Getting that content. Out there on that content grind. He marked the editing office with a circle, then considered where to head next. Dye drink sales demo. Where are they now? Society of Surveillance. Sexy squared. Midoriyama Academy. A university associated with Midoriyama High School. Notable alumni include famous actress Masami Nagahama, a National High School Baseball Championship winning pitcher, the Tissue Prince. What kind of a name is that? Its educational philosophy is summed up in its slogan, words, skill, and beauty. A very high percentage of winners in the Miss Doriyama contest go on to careers in the entertainment industry. I see. The diet drink sales demo was at 1 o'clock. And the interview with Shinosuke Orai was, where are they now, was slated for 2:30, so those times were set. Question was what to do in the interim. Nope, don't go there. Maybe you should go to Dogenzaka and check out the Endo Electronics. It was a bit of a hike, but maybe he should go to Dogenzaka and check out Endo Electronics. It should give him what he needed to put together the Society of Surveillance piece. Okay, I'm heading out. And don't even think about doing anything else stupid while I'm gone. Got it? New hustle to loyalty respect just dropped, right? Minorikawa was really out there on that Sigma grind set. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't be making fun of him. He's doing it to save a dude's life. That's a noble cause. He can hustle without being made fun of for it. A taxi came by just as Minorikawa stepped outside. You again? It was Kimizuka's taxi again. What can I say? I know how to sniff out a guy who's going places. Really? Well then, Dogenzaka ASAP. Son of a bitch. Minorikawa bristled. I beg your pardon? That son of a bitch you wanted to give your piece of your mind, sir. Was he waiting for you like you expected? Oh yeah. And I damn well did give him a piece of my mind too. Glad to hear it, sir. The taxi sped off. Saving a dude's life is very Sigma. That's not how I would phrase it, but yeah. Minorikawa pulled out the proposal and looked over it again. The idea for the surveillance story revolved around the claim that hidden cameras had been installed throughout Shibuya's shopping districts, upwards of 500 of them.
Supposedly, these had eliminated lots of blind spots, and the crime rate in the area had dropped significantly. The cameras were managed by Daisuke Endo, owner of Endo Electronics and chairman of the local downtown committee. That was Minorikawa's first mission then. He needed to get this guy's story. Adding it to my wish list and we'll grab it when it's on sale or have less of a backlog in your library. It's so cool. This is one of those ones that, when I started getting into visual novels, was like one of the ones that had been recommended consistently and always came up as like, this game is amazing. This is such a forgotten gem. And it is just full with like an endless amount of charm to it. The reason I'm playing it now and we're not doing a Two Queers Play series on it is because it's just Vivian and I have like our major games kind of set in for like the next year or so. And there's no way this is going to come up at all anytime soon, unfortunately. It's too long of a game to be in the main slot, and we got a couple of other ones we wanted to put in front of that. So I figured I would stream it because it's fun, and I still want to play it. Scanning the side of the road, Minorikawa finally spotted a rundown electronics shop. The sign out front, which looked like it might fall off at any moment, read, Endo Electronics. Right here's fine. The taxi stopped and Minorikawa pulled a 10,000 yen bill from his wallet. Keep the change, he said. What? Look, don't sweat it. The name's Minoru Minorikawa, and I'm a freelance writer. I care about two things, what's real and what's true. There's real worth to what you've done for me. That there is a token of my appreciation. It's not much, but please, take it. Minorikawa slid out of the taxi and headed for the electronics store. Inside, Endo Electronics looked more like a mountain of hoarded junk than an actual business. Towering piles of ancient appliances stretched toward the ceiling. Old television sets with dial knobs leaned against computers with 5-inch floppy drives. 5-inch floppy drives, a storage medium for personal computers in production from 1976 to 2001. Oh my god, floppy drives on computers latest 2001 fucking blows my mind. The magnetic discs are sheathed in paper or plastic jackets and are known for their tendency to flop around in one's hand. Technically speaking, they are 5.25 inches in diameter. Incidentally, Door, released in 1983, the debut title from this game's producer, Koichi Nakamura, was produced in a 5-inch floppy version. Well, there you go! What possible use could there be for all this outdated stuff? Mr. Endo, are you in here? Minorikawa called out. No one came to greet him. The shop was definitely open, though. Surely the proprietor hadn't left it unattended. Hey, Mr. Endo, come on, I know you're in there. After a short wait, Minorikawa heard sounds from the living space behind the shop. Footnotes explaining what floppy drives are. This game's footnotes are great. It's oh my god, it's a Steins Gate spin-off. Wait, does this predate Steins Gate? I think this predates Steins Gate, because Steins Gate was 09, right? Let me just double check that. No, not the anime. When was the game? Yeah, Steins Gate was 2009, so this came out before Steins Gate did. A door opened to reveal a tired-looking, middle-aged man. Yeah, what do you want? Are you Mr. Endo? Minorikawa asked. I am, the man said guardedly. I'm sorry, but I'm in the middle of something at the moment. Steins Gate is a spin-off of this, then, the Farah relationship. Oh, I see. Okay, fair enough. Could you come back tomorrow, or... Please, just give me a minute. I'm a freelance writer. My name's Minorikawa. Wacha! Bold of them to put an actual phone number on that again. They keep doing that, and I'm like, why would you do that? Minorikawa showed Endo his business card. I'm writing an article for 4-Star General Gossip. Huh. A magazine piece, huh? Precisely, so if I could just have a little of your time today. The phone rang, cutting him off before he could get down to business. I'm sorry, you'll have to excuse me for a moment. Endo reached into the clutter and pulled out a telephone. Hello, Endo Electronics. The proprietor listened for a moment, then raised an eyebrow. Yeah, that's a problem, all right. All right, understood. I'll try and get a hold of the customer then. Endo set the receiver back down. What was all that about? Minorikawa asked. Oh, yesterday I sold a dry ice machine, and the manufacturer just called to let me know the model is defective. Defective? Apparently, once it starts making dry ice, it won't stop. I need to tell the customer I have to recall the machine and refund their deposit. Please give me a moment. Endo sifted through some sales slips, read a number off one, and made a phone call. Tuui Steins Gate, all streams coming from the Shibuya River. I see. I see where we're going with this now. Nobody picked up on the other end, however. That's right, he grumbled to himself. He said they had some performance today. Performance? Minorikawa asked. I sold it to a guy from some theater troupe. They're called the Wandering Angels or something. A theater troupe run by Shinosuke Orai. This afternoon at 5:30 p.m. they are performing their 22nd piece, Au Revoir. Right now, all of the actors are already at the theater, except for Akiomi Mondo, who plays the rival of the main character, Ryu. The angry production chief has sent his assistant to Mondo's apartment, but he does not yet know what awaits him there. Continued in The Tale of the Wandering Angels, Episode 2, 6 episodes in all. I see. The Wandering Angels, that was the Shinosuke Orai's theater troupe. Minorikawa had an interview with him booked for 2:30. Anyhow, what can I do for you? Minorikawa hastily explained that he was what he was after, and Endo gave him a dubious look. As I said earlier, I'm a bit busy right now. Busy cleaning up, I hope. How did you get anything done in this mess? Are you this rude to all of your interview subjects? 5 minutes! Just give me 5 minutes of your time, please. You've got to be joking. Go on, get the hell out of here. Endo headed for his back room in a huff. Fine. Just have to write about what you've already told me. Namely, that Endo Electronics sells defective merchandise. Just what are you implying? Did you or did you not sell that theater troupe a defective piece of equipment? Look, I'm going to get in touch with them as soon as... I'm betting they're in a hurry preparing for their performance. I doubt you'll be getting through to them today. Endo bit his lip. Now that I have your attention, Minorikawa said, let's make a deal. What kind of deal? I'm meeting with a member of the Wandering Angels a little later today. I can let them know about the dry ice machine for you. In exchange, all you have to do is give me my interview. Endo scowled. And where's your proof that you'll be meeting with the Wandering Angels? I might take advantage of a guy when he's down, Minorikawa replied. But one thing I am not is a liar. The shopkeeper took a few moments to think about it. Fine, he grumbled. 5 minutes. That's all you get. Minorikawa whipped his notepad out of his coat like he was drawing a gun. Then let's get right down to it, shall we? Go right ahead. I hear that over 500 surveillance cameras have been installed throughout Shibuya's shopping districts. Yeah, that's right. Why so many? We used to have a lot of delinquents in town. Young people who act rowdy or cause trouble, often at arcades or convenience store parking lots, and who frequently resort to petty theft and other mischief, also referred to in more outmoded terms as ruffians or hoodlums. Endo said the word with marked distaste. Oh yeah, I remember there being some problem kids around. They were real punks. They vandalized my signs, made a mess of my storehouse. They were just awful. Minorikawa scribbled diligently in his notepad. Heck, my own son put together a sort of vigilante squad to help teach those punks a lesson. Wait. Vigilante squad? Hold up right there for a sec. Minorikawa jutted out his hand to interrupt. This guy's son was a part of the vigilante squad. What a stroke of luck. Maybe you could also provide some info for the article on the gangs of Shibuya. Didn't mean to get that too far off topic here, but could you tell me the name of this group your son belongs to? They call themselves SOS. I kick them while they're down, but I am not down with lying. Originally a group of well-meaning young people who would get together downtown as a sort of vigilante squad, trying to keep Shibuya clean and safe. In those days, the group never engaged in theft or other criminal activities. More recently, however, SOS has become one of the biggest gangs in Shibuya, resorting to defacing public property with graffiti, shoplifting, and shaking people down for cash. Prided themselves on being the top gang in Shibuya and all that. The top gang in Shibuya? Did I really just hit the jackpot right here? Not to pat myself on the back, but go me. All I have to do is step outside and the story finds me. I think I might be a natural at this. If that happens, I'm also like to interview people from SOS. Would you be able to put me in touch with your son? Sure, but you should know that my son isn't in the gang anymore. Okay, we'll come back here and jump from this after we finish this. Oh, Minorikawa hesitated. Guess he's of no use to me then. Oh, believe me, I know how you feel. The look on Enda's face spoke volumes. There's no point in interviewing Endo's son if he wasn't involved with the gang anymore. Figured that Minorikawa's run of good luck would end eventually. Still, he got in a lead in the form of a name, SOS. That was progress. Back to the matter at hand. Flip through his notepad back open. What did you decide to do about all these juvenile delinquents? Set up a tiny little web camera in order to protect my property. Camera's designed to send video information to a computer via the internet. Look carefully, and you can often spot them outside private residences and even on public streets, where they are installed for use in surveillance. Given the risks of transmitted data being intercepted, the images recorded by such cameras are generally encrypted to prevent playback by unauthorized third parties. Many landmarks and attractions make their camera footage publicly available online. And I'm guessing the webcam did the trick? Sure did. And so then all other local businesses heard about it and started asking me to install some for them. Web cameras aren't particularly expensive, so it wasn't too tough to set them up all over downtown. So who's in charge of these security cameras? Members of the Downtown Business Committee take turns. The cameras are connected via a wireless network that businesses' owners can access throughout the area. Can't believe Studs of Shibuya would fall that deeply. Right? A LAN or local area... here, just in case y'all, a LAN or local area network, a communication system that can only be used within a limited geographical area. A wireless LAN transmits using electronic signals. Although convenient because it does not require cable attachments, there is a risk of signals being conveyed in this way being intercepted by a third party. How is your security for this wireless network? No problems on our front. Endo seems surprised at the question. All the footage sent over the network is fully encrypted. Encryption is the process of encoding data so that it is indecipherable by a third party. Restoring encrypted data to its initial form requires what is called a key, a program designed for this purpose. There are two main types of such cryptographic systems. Secret key cryptosystems use the same key for both encryption and decryption. Public key cryptosystems use a public key to encrypt the data, but require a private key known by the recipient in order to decrypt. Think you did not know what a LAN was actually? Now you do. But still, people can't feel too good about being recorded on camera without their knowledge, don't you think? Minorikawa asked. The shopkeeper's expression darkened. We hope to strike a balance between crime prevention and protecting individual privacy. Uh-huh. And who determines what that balance is? Minorikawa let a note of challenge slip into his voice. That would be me. I've been entrusted with the management of the security cameras. I see. So essentially, you're providing your own moral oversight. Are you implying that I'm abusing my authority? Endo shot back. I'm doing this in the name of public order. Right, you've had your 5 minutes. Now get out of here. The shopkeeper stood up and headed to the back. I'll be sure to let the Wandering Angels know about the dry ice machine, Minorikawa hollered at the closing door. Wandering Angels, Episode 2. When Akiomi Mondo didn't show up at the theater at the meetup time, production assistant Yukio Tozuka went to call on him at his apartment. Upon arriving, Tozuka found that the place had been staked out by debt collectors. Mondo had borrowed 300,000 yen, and they wouldn't leave his home until he paid up. Looked like the only way to save Mondo was to give the debt collectors the operating funds for the theater. But before Tozuka could head back to relay this news, the props master, Shinichi Bando, showed up. Continued in Episode 3. Didn't know what encryption was, though. It's available on Steam for some great card gameplay. No, right? Everyone loves encryption. Endo didn't reply. Minorikawa had gotten enough of a story to put an article together, so he decided to hurry to a coffee shop and get started on some copy. Hey, wait. I recognize this exact street and building in Dogenzaka. Okay, it is Dogenzaka. I could have told you this was Dogenzaka based on the building on the left there, because that's one of the ones you run by when you're playing in Twui. Misspelled Lane's name like that. Should have proofread the game more, SMH. Dogenzaka was when his cell phone rang. The incoming call display showed Chiaki's name. Not whining. Look, Chiaki, you need to get me those interviews, period. Do I make myself clear? He hung up before she could squeeze in an objection. You see it? You hate this knowledge? Nice. Damn it, Minorikawa muttered. Just what I needed. One more thing to worry about. He pulled at his hair a few times, then cast his worried gaze in the direction of Shibuya Station. I hate this effect. The thing where, like, as soon as you start playing games set in Tokyo, you start recognizing so much of it. Someday, when it's safe to travel again, I would love to go to Tokyo with Vivian, spend the day walking around and just take photos of places we recognize from games and see how many of them we can recreate. Just be those tourists for a day. Hold on. Let's just double check on Achi. Yeah, Achi's got the keep out thing, right? Right, they're waiting for the van. Okay, so here, now we can jump. There we go. Walking through Tokyo, but can only use TUI and P5 as a map. It would still work, is the thing. Hitomi, look! There it was. A blue van had appeared nearby, parked in a spot that had been previously empty. Achi couldn't see who was inside, but there was definitely something fishy about it. Besides, there weren't any other blue cars around, so this had to be it. He'd been right. The crooks had come back after all. I'm gonna go take a quick look, Achi said. You wait here. But before he could carry out his plan, Hitomi jumped to her feet. Without a word, she rushed toward the van. Hold on, I said wait! She wasn't slowing down. Achi caught a hold of her arm. Wait! This could be dangerous. What if the kidnapper's in there?
And what if my sister's in there? I have to go help her.
Achi knew full well what it was like to be impulsive, but this was one situation where cooler heads would have to prevail. We can't just hang out here. Oh, that's...
We can't just hang out here,
she insisted.
What if the car takes off again?
That's why I said I was going to go take a look first.
But isn't that dangerous? What if they do something to my sister because some random guy comes snooping around?
Oh, yeah, you got a point, actually. Achi thought as fast as he could. The criminal told Hitomi to get into the van. There had to be some specific reason for that. What if they were planning to abduct her as well? Whatever the case, he couldn't just let her go. He had to make a snap decision. Let's go together. Let's go together then. Does that work for you? Please, we have no idea who or what we might run into. Hitomi gave a slight nod.
All right, she said. But let me go first and you follow, okay?
Got it, Achi replied. Achi waited as Hitomi started walking, then followed her at a distance, so it wouldn't look like they were together. She headed straight for the van. Two men got out of the car, neither of them Japanese. Achi picked up his pace in case he needed to close the distance fast. One of the men approached Hitomi and said something to her. She gave an affirming nod. Suddenly, the two men grabbed her from either side. They dragged her into the van and shoved her into the back seat. Achi broke into a sprint. Of course it was a trap. He couldn't guess what their whole plan was, but kidnapping Hitomi was obviously part of it. But before he could reach the vehicle, the door slid shut. The van sped off an instant later. Achi raced after it. He ran as hard as he could, thinking of nothing else. He couldn't give up now. He couldn't let things end like this. He made a promise. No quitting halfway. And no turning his back on someone in trouble. But the car kept getting further and further away. Before long, it was just a blue speck that vanished into the cityscape. No! Achi never saw Hitomi again. Welp. That wasn't the right decision. I wonder what the correct decision is here. I wonder how we avoid this bad end. Maybe if we went first. All right. Let's try this time. Look, just let me go first. I don't want to put you at any risk. Hitomi's determination wavered at the look in Achi's eyes. Please, he continued. We have no idea what we might run into. If I think they're going to try to run off again, I'll give some kind of signal. Then you can come along, and I doubt they'll be interested in leaving then. Hitomi gave a reluctant nod.
Please be careful.
I will do.
And tell me if my sister's in there.
I will. You can count on it. Can't wait for the 13 Sentinels twist where we find out who was whose parents, right? Archie stepped out into the open and started walking toward the van. He tried his best to look as if he wasn't paying any attention. Yep, just an ordinary passerby. As he got nearer and nearer, he tried to sneak a glimpse inside. The van's dark window film made it hard to see who might be inside or even know how many people. Casually, he moved closer still to get a better look. Suddenly, the sliding door burst open and several people jumped out. None of them were Japanese. Within moments, Archie was surrounded. Whoa, what? Hey, what's the deal? Archie said. He let out a little chuckle. Man, that thing must be packed. How many seats you got in that thing anyway? Hey! He took another step toward the vehicle and looked inside. Oh, shit! One of the men pulled a knife from inside his jacket, thrusting it out in Archie's direction. He probably meant it as a simple threat, but on reflex, Archie went into self-defense mode, kicking him right in the jaw. There was a loud crack as his foot connected. The man dropped out like a light. The other stared and then rushed him. Well, this sure hadn't gone as planned. Too late to take it back now. The damage was done. Archie was just going to have to take out the rest of these punks, too. He nimbly shifted at his feet, evading their initial attack. Having to take these guys on 3-1 wasn't going to be pretty. Archie! He heard Hitomi cry out. Crap! He hadn't given any signal, but she had come out of hiding anyway. Hitomi, stay back! How was he supposed to fight off 3 guys and protect her at the same time? What could he do? What should he do? Within moments, a number of passerby had gathered around the fight. Maybe they'd heard Hitomi shouting. Hey, what's going on? Oh, was that a knife? This place ain't just some petty squabble. Someone call the police. Some of them began taking photos with their cell phones. One of the men cursed in frustration, then signaled for his buddies to get back in the car. Archie couldn't stop them. The engine roared to life and the van sped away. Knowing he'd never catch them on foot, Archie merely watched it go. Oh, well, that sucks. He'd failed. This was his fault, all of it. Archie bit his lip, hard. How could he possibly face Hitomi now? Archie. Hitomi's voice was hollow and empty. Archie stared down at his feet like a scolded child. I'm sorry, I didn't see whether your sister was in there or not. I see. The words, so simple and so matter-of-fact, stung him to the heart. I'm so sorry. But Hitomi simply shook her head. The fact that she wasn't even chewing him out made him feel all the worse. I know I messed up, but He was going to say, I'll make up for it, somehow, but he froze with fear of what he saw next. Across the street, staring at them, was the man with the cane. Hitomi! It's him! They had to get out of here. He grabbed Hitomi by the hand and bolted down Dogenzaka. The assassin followed, staying on his side of the road. Archie wasn't sure of what to do. Should they try heading into the alleys and side streets again? No. It was more dangerous to head someplace where there'd be fewer witnesses. Best to stick to Dogenzaka for now. The man wouldn't be able to gun them down if they managed to lose themselves in the crowd along Center Guy first. Besides, the guy had to use a cane. Archie and Hitomi could outrun him. Hand in hand, they sped along Dogenzaka and through the intersection in front of the 109 building. Come on, Hitomi! Just a little further! Okay. She was panting, but she pressed on. Won't you chew me out? No. Please do. What? Please. Archie risked a glance back over his shoulder. Huh? He stopped in surprise. What's wrong? Hitomi asked. That guy. He's not following us. The slope leading down to the intersection wasn't all that steep. Several plainclothes detectives have been hiding amidst the crowd in the intersection as part of the kidnapping stakeout. Right now, Director Kuze is sending a message to all officers over the wireless, and so the detectives have been stopped to listen in. It's a bit unusual. An observant individual might notice. It was strange that the gunman hadn't bothered to pursue. Still, there was no time to worry about his behavior right now. Hitomi, can you still run? Yeah, I'm all right. Then this is our chance. Let's go this way. And there's that side street that you travel down a lot in Tokyo Mirage Sessions. They needed to put plenty of distance behind them before the assassin came after them again. But they also needed to find the van again and rescue Hitomi's sister. Would they be able to find it and yet stay hidden from the man with the cane? Achi wasn't sure one way or another, but with Hitomi in tow, he hurried onward toward Center Guy. To be continued! Alright. Thanks, Achi. All right, so now Thomas' story has different. Oh, what's up, Viv? Okay. Cool. All right, we'll do that then. True. All right, everyone. I'm going to take a quick break here. So I can... Just going to be no more than 10 minutes. You know how it goes. While I'm gone, everyone stand up and walk around for a bit. Drink some water, eat some food, all those little things you got to do to take care of yourself. I'll be back in 10 when I do. We're not going to go for much longer when I get back. But while I do want to do at least a little bit more of Thomas' route today. So, see you all in just a bit. All right, let's do just a little bit more. Okay. So now we're on Thomas' story. We've already seen how the job started, right? But now this time it's going to end. Also, I feel like we just kind of breezed past the fact where Tama came into a shop, accidentally came across one of those shops that's selling items that are of vital importance, you know? Wondering where the sound was during this part. Okay, let's speed back through this back to where we were. I also like how we never see Tama. Even in her flashback. When Tokyo is but ash and the skies are black, they will reconstruct the entirety of 21st century Tokyo with old digital media. Right? Also, like, what's with the weird vignetting for this scene, making it look like some, pastoral, like, it's so strange. All right, keep speeding through, keep speeding through. There's the Tama head. The game really wants us to know that necklace is important somehow, but it would be funny if it turned out Tama was just really bad with money. Yeah. Could go either way. All right. Oh, I was confusing Shiri and Chiaki together. Okay, they're two different people. I for some reason messed up Shiri's name.
And once again, I ask myself, why am I in such a rush to get this necklace anyway? I honestly don't know. It's the strangest thing. I tried my hardest to think of a reason, but all I get is a dull, aching throb at the back of my head. The same pain I felt earlier, as if I'd gotten a good bonk on the head or something.
What could it be? Oh, well, that was anticlimactic. All right. To be continued. Huh. Well, I believe all of their routes are now wrapped up kind of nicely. So, huh. Osawa really didn't play into any of these routes, did he? Yeah, we haven't even... Everyone else is at to be continued. We haven't even touched Osawa yet. Necklace is either some kind of vitally important artifact with mystical powers or some random knick-knack that is not worth the price. No in between. So I guess we'll go to Osawa now. God, this menu is so good! Wealth, status, honor. None of these mean anything to me. All I want is a peaceful life. To put worry behind me, to stay calm and serene. To be free of worldly concerns. Free at any cost. A cheery rhythm pumped from the CD player set up against the study wall. It was the latest hit from Aya Kamiki, the songwriter sensation who was blowing up the pop charts. Kenji Osawa reached for the stereo remote on his desktop. He ratcheted the volume up a little louder. He looked like the sort of man who'd be more interested in classical music, but in fact, he was a huge fan of the girl rock popular with middle schoolers. Closing his eyes, he swayed back and forth in time with the music, humming his favorite lyrics under his breath, but his movements faltered. It's no use. Aya's voice usually soothed whatever ailed him, but today even she couldn't help. Today Osawa was a complete wreck in both body and mind. Mounds of paperwork were scattered across the desktop in his study. All of it about viruses and vaccines. And it had been only a week since he'd returned from a business trip to his company's branch office in the U.S., and he was slated to go back in another week's time. There was a truly staggering amount of work he needed to get through while he was at home. He picked up one of the papers, glanced at it aimlessly, then tossed it back onto the desk. Slumping back in his chair, he let out a long, deep sigh. He was in no mental state to work right now. A faint knock at the door barely roused him from his torpor. "Director, can I come in?" It was his vice director, Mamoru Tanaka. "Sure, the door's open." Tanaka came into the study. "I know it's not a great time, but, Osawa could barely make out his words. He tapped the remote, lowering the volume of the music. Song feels familiar, but I can't place if I've heard it actually before. I don't know if I've heard it or not before either. It sounds familiar, though. Tanaka continued apologetically. "A call came in from the lab. They're hoping for a response to the email they sent yesterday. I'm sure they don't need it today. Apparently, they do need an answer as soon as possible, sir. I did ask them to give you some more time, but..." "I see," Osawa said wearily. "All right, then." Tanaka dipped his head slightly and slipped out of the room. Osawa contemplated his colleague. Tanaka was a man he could truly depend on. He has enough of his own work to do. He didn't need to come in here again today, but he did. They'd been working in close concert ever since Osawa had gotten back to Japan. Without Tanaka's support, there was no way he would be in a mindset to do any work at all right now. Sidling up to his computer, Osawa opened his email program and started answering the work-related messages. He reported on his business travel expenses, offered his opinions on capital investments, requested confirmation on current medicinal stockpiles. He worked with bleak detachment. None of this meant anything to him right now. Then a new email appeared in his inbox. The sender was identified as simply @. The subject line read, 1 year ago, South Africa. The message body was blank, but there appeared to be multiple images attached. Ordinarily, Osawa would have deleted a message like this immediately, assuming that it contained some kind of virus. But the word South Africa drew his attention. Could this possibly be related to? He couldn't help but to wonder. For a long moment, he hovered the cursor over one of the image files. Last, as if spurred on by the upbeat rhythm in his ears, he double-clicked the mouse. What is this? The grainy photograph showed a large room with a dozen or so people laid out in beds. It appeared to be some sort of medical ward. Osawa felt a strange flutter in his chest. He quickly opened another image. This one showed a close-up of one of the patients in his bed. Large, red blotches covered his face. A large volume of blood appeared to be dripping from his ears and nostrils. A cold shudder ran up Osawa's spine. What the hell? These symptoms. Osawa opened the remaining image files. Each new picture showed another one of the patients. They all appeared to be teetering on the brink of death. There was no doubt about it. These people were infected with the UA virus. Would not have called that this is where this game was going, but hey, whatever. The UA virus belongs to a family Filoviridae, genus Wallachyvirus. Wallachyvirus. Got it. It is a member of the same family as the Ebola virus and causes UA virus fulminant hemorrhagic fever. It is capable of airborne transmission, although an infected individual cannot pass on the infection before symptoms manifest. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, have assigned the virus to Risk Group 4, their classification for the most dangerous infectious agents. But how? Questions tumbled through Osawa's mind. His fingers tapped out a quick message. He doubted he'd get a response, but he might as well try. Who are you? Where are these images from? Remember, someone made a more complex plot than Zero Escape joke yesterday, but it's actually going to be the case, isn't it? Right? Right? Oh, we're going in deep now. The Uwa virus got its name from a Swahili word for flower. The virus is roughly 900 nanometers to 110 nanometers in diameter and 500 nanometers to 700 nanometers long. Because of its pronounced sickle-like shape, it is sometimes known as the sickle of death. It possesses a viral envelope, the surface of which is coated with spike-shaped protein protuberances. 1 nanometer is about 1/1000th of a meter, or 0.000000001 meters. Supposedly, this was based on the fact that the propagated form of the virus resembled the petals of a flower. Despite the flowery name, however, the disease was anything but pretty. Uwa didn't just mean flower. It also meant to kill. And as the name suggested, the virus had a mortality rate of 100% in those it managed to infect. Because most details regarding the Uwa virus have been suppressed, cases of Uwa infection are largely unknown to the world at large. Because all patients known to be infected with the virus on official record have died within a short time frame, the mortality rate is given as 100%. As the incidence of known cases grows, the number may drop below 100%, but the mortality rate will likely remain extraordinarily high. Moreover, there was a very short incubation period between infection, the onset of symptoms, and death. Inhaled viral particles can spread from the lungs to the lymph nodes and from there disperse throughout the body. The virus propagates in several places, including liver cells and macrophages, a component of the immune system, and destroys the endothelial cells within blood vessels. Upon reaching the brain, it forms a neural sludge of blood mixed with other bodily fluids. Within roughly 12 hours, bleeding would set in throughout the body, everywhere but the bones and muscles, with lethal results. Due to its incredibly high mortality rate, the disease's very existence had been kept hidden from public knowledge. Osawa's computer chimed to signify the arrival of a new email. The sender was at. He hurried to open the message. Once again, the subject line read, 1 year ago, South Africa. Your crimes. Osawa stared at those two words. My crimes? That left him with only further questions. He looked again at the images from the previous email. Your sin of 1 year ago. What makes any of this my crimes? He could see that the patient's bleeding was severe. He estimated that several hours had passed since the onset of the disease. It wouldn't be long before their lives were cut short. To feel that agony, that suffering, and then to perish. Am I to blame for that? Another faint knock came at the door. Darling, do you have a moment? It was his wife, I. Let's not show her. Give me just a second. Osawa hurriedly closed the mail program. Even if this was nothing more than some sick prank, it wasn't anything he wanted his family to see. Especially not I. All right, come in. But Osawa turned to see that I had already let herself into the study. The sharp sting of her perfume made him scrunch up his face for a moment. Have you reconsidered the whole America thing? She asked. This again, Osawa thought sullenly to himself. Please, he said, can we not discuss this right now? If not now, then when? You know this isn't a decision just to make on your own. On his latest business trip, a major American pharmaceutical firm had attempted to headhunt him, asking him to join them and be among the top researchers in the world. The money and prestige held no interest for him, and he was reluctant to turn his back on Okoshi Pharmaceutical after his many years of service. Okoshi Pharmaceutical is the pharmaceutical company for which Kenji Osawa works. It is a major corporation with a solid sales network, both domestically and internationally, and an annual turnover of 1 trillion yen. It holds patents for several medications that are in demand worldwide, and is influential at the Ministry of Health, Labor, and Welfare, and other political institutions. The company employs roughly 7,000 people, including 600 researchers. Nonetheless, he was intrigued by the offer. It would mean the chance to conduct his virus research in a much better funded environment. Taking the job would necessitate relocating to the U.S., however. When he mentioned the possibility of emigrating to Ai, she'd shot the idea down on the spot. Her opposition was understandable. Ai's father, Suguru Makino, was a member of Okoshi Pharmaceutical's board of directors. No way was he going to let Osawa jump ship to another company. Darling, please. I drew in closer to him. Think about it from my perspective. If you leave for America, what am I supposed to tell my father? He'd gotten so used to it, that grating whine of hers. Have you considered what might happen to Okoshi if you leave, dear? 10 minutes into Osawa's story, both my intrigue and confusion about the game's plot and how this connects to the rest has been tripled. Right? Also, didn't we see Osawa very briefly during Kano's route on the train? I think we locked eyes with him uncomfortably once. Also, look at this shot. They didn't have to go hard with the harsh red lighting only up half of her face like that, but they did, and I'm so glad that they did because it looks fucking great. We can discuss that once all this is finished. Osawa kept his voice as level as he could. You do remember that you're a director, right? I said. You have responsibilities. Stop thinking about yourself so much. With a sour look, I turned and departed. Well, he had known that moving to America would never be a simple matter, regardless of what his wife thought about it. There was another reason, however, the antiviral agent he had developed at Okoshi. A therapeutic drug used to treat viral infections. Examples include the drugs used against influenza and HIV. These treatments do not eliminate the infection, rather they simply inhibit the development of the disease. There are still many issues with such drugs, including the risk that treated viruses possess or develop a resistance that makes the treatment ineffective. Academic institutions and pharmaceutical companies worldwide devote tremendous resources to further advancing the field of antiviral medicine. After the UA virus was discovered, infectious disease research facilities worldwide had thrown themselves at a top-secret effort to develop a vaccine. Oh, look, a tooltip on a vaccine, in case any of y'all didn't know what a vaccine was. That's so helpful, game. Thank you. Vaccines function by safely introducing a harmless or attenuated version of a virus or other pathogen into the human body. This triggers the body to produce antibodies against the pathogen, making it difficult for the dangerous version to take hold. Wow! Same feel as the scene where Genda was talking to the nerve leadership? A little bit, yeah. But Makino had ordered Osawa to work on creating an antiviral agent, not a vaccine. A vaccine immunized the subject in order to prevent infection in the first place. Conversely, an antiviral agent could be used to treat patients already infected. It was a so-called wonder drug for combating the virus itself. Creating such a drug was far easier than said than done. Developing the antiviral had been a long, arduous road. Only after years of research had Osawa's team succeeded in identifying a substance that might qualify as an antiviral agent for UA. In theory, if it was administered during the virus's initial stages, 100% recovery could be obtained. The game. Here, have tips on everything. We want you to understand things. Also the game. Whatever is going on in the plot. Data also suggested that 80% survival rate for patients treated shortly after the onset of symptoms. Feels like every noun should have a capitalized letter. Right? Right? It does. But there was a fatal flaw with the new antiviral agent. The side effects on the body were unusually potent. If it was administered in amounts beyond a certain threshold, it was linked to life-threatening complications. For a time, research was at an impasse. It had seemed that the drug had to be administered in high volume to combat the explosive propagation of the UO virus. But then, Osawa had received some fortuitous news. Okoshi Pharmaceuticals' nanotechnology branch had engineered a cutting-edge device known as the DDS. Yo, we got to nanotechnology, son! Yeah, we're in there! Technology created and or operated on an extremely small scale, measured in nanometers. There are 1 billion nanometers in a meter. Some nanotech devices are literally regulated on the atomic level. The possibilities are ever-expanding in practical fields such as medicine and material science. The United States is among the world leaders in the push for research and development. Oh, yeah. DDS, acronym for Drug Delivery System. Such a system administers ultra-microscopic drug capsules to a targeted area of the body. Now all we need is Schrodinger's cat and we got all the warriors. Yeah! Oh, man. I mean, isn't this game almost itself like Schrodinger's cat, if you will? Where we don't know what happens in some of the plot lines until they're observed, and yet they still affect the world outside them. Osawa had jumped on immediately. By administering his antiviral agent with the nanotech DDS, he was able to use smaller amounts of the drug to quash the UO virus with precision. Yo, we got a video! Okay, because the DDS can be used to deliver a drug with pinpoint precision and only where it is needed, it can greatly reduce the side effects of even very potent drugs. The DDS developed by Okoshi Pharmaceutical utilizes advanced high-tech polymers, which ensure that the capsules containing the drug are fully broken down and eliminated from the body roughly 1 week after administration. Let's watch this video! Oh, that was so helpful. Thank you, game. The procedure was a huge success. There was a marked increase in the drug's efficacy, along with the expected decrease in adverse side effects. Can't wait till Osawa gets the UO virus remote injected through his nanogates and has to solve an escape room to get the vaccine. Yeah, pretty much. A pharmaceutical is said to have a positive side effect if its use brings about the desired results when treating a medical condition. But many drugs create unwanted or unforeseen adverse effects as well. Given the extreme complexity of most drugs' interactions with the human body, nearly any medicine can have both positive and negative effects. Learning so much right now, right? God, this game is fucking amazing! Ah! Put it into my veins! Suddenly we're getting like 3-4 tips a screen. You know shit's getting real. The effects had been confirmed via animal testing on monkeys. Experiments involving drugs or medicinal techniques tested on animals to confirm their safety before they are used on humans. The 1964 Declaration of Helsinki, which lays out ethical standards for human experimentation, advocates responsible animal testing, but many animal rights advocates regard such testing as a form of animal cruelty. Clinical trials. I'd be surprised if something similar actually happened. Lol. Yeah, right? When a new drug is being prepared for government approval after it has been tested on animals, it must pass tests on humans, clinical trials, that evaluate its safety and sustainability and suitability. Such tests are frequently conducted on both patients and healthy individuals. In Japan, the development of new drugs is often hindered by insufficient legal infrastructure for conducting clinical trials, resulting in a smaller knowledge base and fewer opportunities for testing. But the very existence of this new wonder drug was still a secret. No doubt Okoshi's leadership would be reluctant to see Osawa, the drug's lead researcher, transferred to another company. Still, it wasn't completely outside the realm of possibility. Once the antiviral was out of development and announced to the public, Osawa would be free and clear. For that very reason, he was loath to cause any friction over the drug right now. This anxiety only magnified his concern about the email he just received. Osawa called up Tanaka over the intercom. There's something I want to show you. Could you come in here? He needed a second opinion, and Tanaka could be relied upon. Also, I don't know if this is just me, but I really love, like, looking at pieces of old-ass technology. Look at the face of this phone and tell me that you don't just, like, yeah, this is great. This shit is awesome. Who needs 24 individual lines? Why? Who's talking at that many times at once? We've hit nanomachines and secret viruses in the midst of this kidnapping plot with a mascot animal's obsession with a necklace. Anything could happen from here on out. If that necklace isn't cursed, I don't know what to do with this game. Asawa opened the door the moment Tanaka knocked. He looked around before ushering his vice director inside. What's this about, sir? This. Osawa showed him one of the images. Tanaka's face went pale. It can't be. Tanaka clearly recognized the symptoms of the Uwa virus. Any idea what this is about? Osawa asked. No, sir. These images were just emailed to me. The subject line says 1 year ago, South Africa. That would put it around the same time as the most recent run of infections, wouldn't it, sir? But that information isn't... Tanaka trailed off and Osawa nodded. The thing I don't understand is why these pictures were sent to me. Osawa opened the other email from The second message I got says that these pictures are my crimes. My sin of 1 year... Okay, that's the second time I've done that. I need to stop. I'll look into this on my end, sir, Tanaka said. He hesitated uncomfortably. Has the best aesthetic, but I'm so glad it was not around too young when it was actually in use. I mean, the thing is, like, I grew up in the 90s, right? And, like, and think about, like, how radically things have changed in even just the past 30 years or so. And I'm like, that's... It's weird what you get used to and how quickly. And it's weird how normal things seem when you don't have, like when I was growing up and I wanted to hang out with people, we'd call their house. If they weren't at their home and there wasn't anyone to pick up the phone, right, then you just didn't talk to them that day. When I was in middle school, we started, like, email was becoming, like, a very popularized thing, and I remember being emailing people and being like, this is the wildest thing in the world. How could I ever live without this? And then I got into high school, or late middle school and high school, and I started getting instant messaging, and I'm like, oh God, this is the coolest thing in the world. How could we have ever lived without this? It's you just kind of it changes your expectations of what you do with your day, I guess. The aesthetic of sci-fi in the 90s was so heavy. I know. Oh, retro sci-fi is older visions of the future that are clouded by what current technology was that's my drug right there. Put that shit into my veins. Sir, just to make sure, Are you asking me what I think about what I think you're asking about? Osawa said. Tanaka gave a slight nod. Understood, Osawa said. Don't worry. I won't trouble you. I appreciate that, sir. Visibly relieved, Tanaka left the study. I love that they illustrate these by showing the incredibly over-zoomed in photos of a computer. Look at this. Look at this. This is great. This game fucking rocks. Lowering the budget for space exploration so we can get space stations with floppy disks. Woo! Osawa brought up a folder marked Uwa virus on his screen. Within the folder were enlarged images of the virus itself. He double-clicked on one of the images, blew up on the monitor to reveal the pathogen in intricate detail. Look at that shot! They got the reflection in his... Oh, yeah! Oh! A specimen of the Uwa virus was approximately 100 nanometers in diameter. 10,000 of them in line would take up barely a millimeter. But a single tiny virion, upon entering the human body, could become 2,000 within an hour. That speed of multiplication was nothing short of astonishing. Even the Ebola virus had a typical incubation period of 7 days or so before infectees developed symptoms. The Ebola virus is a virus of the family Filoviridae that causes Ebola hemorrhagic fever. Currently, 5 characterized species are known: Thai forest, Sudan, Reston, Zaire, and Bundibugyo. Ebola is widely known for its high mortality rate, 53% for the Sudan form, 88% for the Zaire. But the Reston variety, discovered in monkeys that have been brought into the U.S., has displayed no pathogenicity in humans. For influenza, it was 1 or 2, but the onset of the Uwa virus happened in a mere 12 hours. Osawa viewed an image slideshow of the virus's propagation mechanism. It was a fascinating sight, no matter how many times he looked at it. Viruses existed to multiply, nothing more. They had no motives, no driving logic, nothing but simple multiplication. Getting infected with the virus is a math battle changed my mind. To Osawa, the fact that fact held a certain air of mystery. If viruses had emotions, how would they feel about their lives? He had thrown himself into virus research in search of answers to questions like that. Answers that no man could truly know. His development of the antiviral agent had been nothing more than another job of responsibility. He felt no particular sense of duty to protect people from a killer virus. He was just happy for the chance to play around with UA day after day. Another email arrived in his inbox. The sender? The subject line, 1 year ago, South Africa. Again. Osawa read the message. Do not look away. These are your crimes. This time, however, there were 4 images attached. Osawa proceeded to open each one of them in turn. The first shocked Osawa so much that he felt like he had been punched in the head. One of the UA patients from the earlier images was being injected with something. No. Osawa muttered to himself. It can't be. The second image showed one of the infected, hunched over in pain, vomiting up blood, the symptoms had already manifested, but Osawa thought he could see that some degree of life had come back into the patient's eyes. He rushed to open the third image. It showed a morgue, piled high with corpses. The rictus of anguish on the dead faces made them look no longer human. Various fluids seeped from the eyes and nostrils. The lymph nodes were grotesquely swollen. Lymph nodes are small organs that function as part of the lymphatic system in mammals. When a foreign substance invades the body, the lymph nodes detect it, prompting the production of white blood cells such as lymphocytes and macrophages to consume the invader. A viral infection sometimes causes the lymph nodes to swell up as a result of increased activity. There were hospital beds, stained with massive amounts of blood and gastric fluids. Next came the fourth and final image. More corpses. They had badges affixed to their chests with various labels. 6 hours passed, 12 hours passed, and 18 hours passed. It looked as if someone had been attempting live trials with the antiviral agent. Osawa didn't consider the antiviral agent ready for release, but that was because his team hadn't conducted clinical trials on humans yet. And there was a good reason why such trials hadn't been conducted. There was no way to test the efficacy of a drug without an infected patient. To run a proper clinical test, someone would first need to be infected with the UA virus. No matter how effective animal testing had been, if the drug proved ineffective on humans, that person would have a guaranteed death sentence. It was unthinkable to run trials that involved such a deadly risk. And yet, as he looked over the images again and again, Osawa became certain. Without his knowledge, someone, presumably someone from Okoshi Pharmaceutical, had conducted human testing with the antiviral agent. The time markers on the corpses in the fourth image were surely to mark the time elapsed since the onset of symptoms. A thorough trial would test the drug's effectiveness in those time frames. Osawa slammed his fist on the desk in rage. This was nothing short of vile human experimentation in the guise of clinical testing. The people responsible could not be allowed to get away with this. There was only one person Osawa could trust to keep this under wraps. His boss, Makino. He reached for his phone to call Makino. What time are we at? We're at 11:40 already, huh? But he stopped short as soon as he picked up the receiver. He knew he was in no state of mind to have a calm, reasoned conversation right now. Turning to the CD player, he put on Aya Kamiki's latest album. Leaning back in his chair, he surrendered himself to her soothing tones. Bit by bit, he could feel himself returning to a calmer, emotional state. There had been a time when Osawa hadn't listened to music at all. In fact, he had no interest in the arts in general, music, painting, cinema. It was only due to a simple coincidence that he had found Aya Kamiki. His daughter had asked for a CD as a birthday present, so he'd swung by the store to pick one up. Since Kamiki's new album had just come out, there was a display for it in the front of the shop. Something about the bright, colorful album packaging had drawn him in. After a time, Osawa could feel himself growing calmer. He took a nice, deep breath. Style up Makino. Enraged by the cruelty of human experimentation, relaxed to some nerve-calming J-pop. He took a nice, deep breath, and then he dialed up Makino. Has there been any progress? Makino asked as soon as he picked up. His voice was somber. No, Osawa said, nothing much yet. A tiny sigh came in from the other end of the line. I see. Then what can I do for you? Sir, I'll just get right to the point. Have you conducted clinical trials using the antiviral drug? Makino didn't respond right away. What makes you think that? He asked at last. Osawa described the emails that he'd received. When he'd finished, Makino let out his breath in surprise. Not over the phone, he said. We'll discuss this in person. I'll head over to your place when I'm done here. As soon as possible, sir. As soon as I can manage, Makino said. You're not the only person who's busy. With that, Makino hung up. There was no doubt about it then. There had been human testing. Osawa went to let Tanaka know he'd be meeting with Makino. Mr. Osawa, are you going somewhere? A stolid-looking man stood in the hallway, almost as if he'd been waiting for Osawa to emerge. It was Yoshijo Kajawara, one of the detectives from the Shibuya precinct. A detective with the Shibuya precinct's Criminal Investigation Division. He is sociable, but awkward, and despite his reserved personality, he can be quite unsettling. His colleagues at the Japanese precinct refer to him by nicknames such as Japanese Columbo and Little Ken Takakura, given his own quirky demeanor as a detective. Oh, and just one more thing. He struck Osawa as a bit too soft-spoken and meek for a detective, really, and his treatment of the kidnapping case that gave him an impression of flighty detachment that made him seem rather unpredictable. No, not really. Have there been any developments, detective? That's how this is related! It's his family! Oh, shit! I hadn't even put that together. Oh, damn! Kajawara shook his head quietly. I'm sorry, sir. Not really sure what to tell you. Kajawara then slipped a hand into his suit pocket. He pulled out a banana. A highly nutritious fruit belonging to family Musaceae, genus Musa. Because they contain a variety of different carbohydrates, bananas can provide long-lasting energy and are an optimal energy source when exercising. The famous slipperiness of banana peels is due to the oils of the inner part of their skin, but even if all the oils were removed, slapstick comedians would still probably slip on them anyway. Are you hungry? These are good for when you're tired. I'm fine, thanks, Musawa said. Kajawara seemed to lack a detective's sense of situational awareness. Just being around him got on Osawa's nerves. Well, sir, I need you to come with me, the detective said. If you don't mind. He took Osawa by the arm. As Kajawara hurried him toward the living room, Osawa could hear the other detectives talking on the other side of the door. He's working at a time like this? Seriously? I do not get rich people in their priorities. Yeah, I feel bad for his daughter. Her dad's a real piece of work. Nice. They were bad-mouthing him in his own house. I'm really sorry about all that, Kajawara said, pausing in embarrassment. Osawa pushed past him and opened the door. A number of police detectives had holed up in the living room. They went suddenly silent as Osawa entered. So tell me, he said sarcastically, would you rather I stay here weeping as I watch this disaster unfold? The detective winced and grimaced. Forgive me for not being a perfect father, he added, his hostility building. Kajawara stepped forward to intervene before things got out of hand. Now, let's not be touchy. I am not being touchy, Osawa snapped. But he knew full well that he was. These guys had the time to sit around backbiting him, but not to go out and bring Mararia to safety. Already close to half a day had gone by without any new developments. Wondering why that one detective was snacking on a banana in that one screen from Kano's route. Quirky detective shtick. Exactly. Exactly. The ransom demand had come in the previous night at 8 o'clock. Maria had been abducted roughly an hour before. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., by Hachiko and Shibuya, have the sister, Hitomi, bring 50 million yen. If not, the girl's life is forfeit. The kidnapper called only once, so the police were unable to run a trace. I'll do it, Hitomi said. Anything for my sister. She didn't hesitate in the slightest at the suggestion that she make the ransom handoff. Osawa was staunchly opposed to the idea, but the police were in the opinion that it was better to acquiesce to the kidnapper's demands. Ai's reaction, on the other hand, baffled nearly everyone. We don't have 50 million yen just lying around. Are the police going to be putting that together for us? Kajiwara stepped in to reassure her. If it comes down to it, the police will be able to help raise the money. Okay, go ahead then. Do it. We need you to pay you back afterwards, of course. Well, then what's the point of that? Ai's voice spiked up to a piercing shriek. Calm down, Osawa told her. You're making a scene. I turned away in a huff. It's all right, Detective, Osawa continued. I'll talk to the bank first thing tomorrow morning and figure something out. At that, I stormed out of the room. Kajiwara bowed his head several times in apology. As soon as Hitomi made contact, we'll apprehend the suspect and take things from there. What? Hold on. Won't that put Maria in danger? If we let the kidnapper get away with the money, we have no proof that he will return the hostage safely afterwards. There was a certain logic there, Osawa had to concede. I see, he said. So you're saying that catching this guy will be easier for you if he keeps my daughter hostage? No. No, that's not what I was implying at all. Kajiwara wiped the sweat off his brow and bowed profusely. At least I promise we'll get your daughter back safe and sound, Mr. Osawa. Obviously, there was nothing to be gained from further challenging the detectives. All right, then. I'll let the police do their job. Osawa bowed even lower than Kajiwara had. The shots of the clock changing and the shadows changing on the wall, that's such a... The framing in this game is so good. How long are you just going to loaf around? I shrieked as she stormed into the room. Hurry up and arrest this guy. She was becoming increasingly hysterical. An hour had passed since the suspect had taken the money, and yet the police had made no effort to apprehend him. The police had apparently had a rule against discussing an operation before it was fully resolved, and so the Osawas had been left in the dark. But they had overheard the task force talking over the wireless, and it appeared that they were deliberately letting the suspect roam free. Hey! I snapped again. If he gets away with our money, you are going to reimburse us, right? Osawa scowled. She made it sound like the money was more important than Maria's life. The detectives exchanged uneasy glances. It's only money. It doesn't matter. Only money? Are you serious? Do you have any idea how much we're talking about here? The ferocity in her voice left him with no response. Should have known better than to expect her to make sacrifices for his daughters. By now, he was accustomed to Ai's coldness toward the two girls. The twins were Osawa's daughters from his first wife, who'd passed away 15 years earlier. Ai had no blood ties to Maria, nor Hitomi herself. Well, I continued, are the police going to reimburse us or not? She glared pointedly at Kajiwara. Well, right now, we're focused on making sure Maria is safe. I stormed up to him, shouting right in his face, Stop dodging the question and answer me! Yes, of course, Kajiwara squeaked. Maybe you would like something to eat to help calm down? He held out a banana. I smacked it out of his hand. Oh dear, what a waste! Kajiwara scrambled to retrieve the fruit from the floor. Osawa went over to Tanaka and whispered into his ear. I'm going to meet with Mr. Makino. Tanaka nodded silently. Turning, Osawa saw Kajiwara looking in their direction. They made eye contact, but Osawa quickly looked away and strode out of the living room. Kajiwara followed after him. Excuse me, Mr. Osawa? Yes, what is it? The detective fussed sheepishly with his hair and forced a smile. Sir, we'd appreciate if you could remain in the living room as much as possible. Osawa was in no mood to stand on propriety. Look, I've got a ton of work to do, he said. You here to tell me to play the role of the grieving father, too? No, not at all. Personally, I happen to think you're an admirable father, Mr. Osawa. Admirable? The word have a ring of sarcasm? He had no way to tell if Kajiwara was being forthright with him or not.
You're no ordinary fellow, Mr. Osawa. You're a genius. A genius? Me? Osawa made a skeptical noise. Am I mistaken, sir? You've made very important strides in the field of virus research. Or so I've been told. Oh, he does have the Columbo thing going on. No wonder they... Oh, I got it. Back from the abyss. Yo, Powu, welcome to the end of the stream. We're almost done for the day. Glad you could come back, though. This game took a fucking turn. Osawa wasn't sure how to respond. He had never considered himself a genius. He was just someone who had more interested in viruses than he was in other people. Everyone who's a genius is also a little bit odd, after all, Kajawara went on. Probably he'd intended that as a compliment, but still. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with weirdos so long as they leave us ordinary folks alone, you know? Is this guy trying to praise me or insult me? Osawa let out a heavy sigh. Genius, weirdo, what did it even matter? So long as he could be left to his work, he didn't care one whit how he looked in other people's eyes. The hypest plot twist on YouTube. Damn right. Kajawara wiped the sweat off his forehead with a handkerchief. By the way, what are you working on right now? He asked. I'm afraid you wouldn't understand even if I explained it to you, Osawa replied. Right. Precisely. Even if I gave it my full attention, it would still be beyond me. He peered with sudden intensity at Osawa's face. I'd appreciate if you didn't hide things from me, sir, he said. Osawa gaped at a loss for words. I'm so sorry, Kajawara added hurriedly. Goodness, that made it sound like I'm accusing you of hiding something, didn't it? The detective bowed his head repeatedly. I hope you'll forgive me, he held out the banana. That won't be necessary. How about this, then? This time he pulled a bar of chocolate from his pocket. No. That one's already eaten. Does this guy just carry an endless food supply wherever he went? Oh, my, Kajawara murmured. Your genius is really hard stuff to sort out. He inclined his head, mumbling to himself for a moment. What can I get for you, then, sir? What I'd really like is some time by myself. In a daze of exasperation, Osawa felt his way to his study. Locking the door, he finally let out the breath he'd been holding, and then his eyes alighted on the bookshelf against the wall. He pulled out a photo album and began to flip through it. There were pictures of his daughter's grade school enrollment ceremony. Their mother had already passed away from illness, so Osawa had taken care of the girls himself. He remembered that after the ceremony, Hitomi had come down with a fever. Hitomi had been rather sickly as a girl, falling bedridden at the drop of a hat. Maria, by contrast, had been lively and energetic, quite the handful. Osawa had found it remarkable that their personalities could be so different despite them being twins. He flipped further into the album. There was a picture of the three of them at their grade school graduation. Maria was looking away from the camera. Osawa felt like someone had stabbed a dagger in his heart. His daughters, or virology? Which truly concerned him more? Which did he truly love? It was ridiculous to try to compare the two. He'd know the answer before he even asked himself. Even so, human emotions were complicated, and sometimes people act inconsistently. One of the consequences of that was this photo album. This was the last photo he had of Maria. He searched and searched through the rest of the album, but she was nowhere else to be found. This game rocks. I fucking love this game. Oh, man. This game is both ridiculous and amazing in turn. Once she's dead, you'll understand. He's right back to where we started. Buddy, you're a weirdo. Eels and I are one and the same. Please keep this email a secret. Osawa was very relatable. I, too, have no idea how to pose for photos. Daughters, cost money, ugly, will leave one day. Virus, undead, eternal, cheap to keep, very powerful. Awesome. All right, we're doing great. I think this is where we're going to call it for today. Thanks again for coming out, everyone. I'll be back. Oh, tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, there's no stream tomorrow. I'll be back on Saturday. We'll play more. We'll do more Toho practice, and we'll do more of this. Umineko returns on Friday, so if you're looking forward to that series, we got a new episode coming at you tomorrow with some hot theory crafting in it. That's all I got for you. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that.
support us on Patreon if you like what we do. And have a great day.